Nobodies.
She goes, you know what I called you because it was on my heart. Is everything going okay? I go, yeah, I go, I thought you were calling me because you wanted to ruin one of your friends' relationships or something. She started laughing. She's like, you are hilarious. I'm like, yeah,
all right, that's running. Hell yeah. That was so hard. Dude, see, this is why I don't smoke weed that much.
Yeah.
Salute, brother.
This is why I do smoke weed that much.
Cheers,
Right,
thank you.
Okay, so, salute. Yeah.
Cinda's production number 2.
Well, yeah.
Normally I like trick somebody into like not even realizing we started.
Yeah.
And so then we'll be sitting here and then it's like an hour in. They're like, should we start? And I'm like, motherfucker, we did.
Yeah, right. I already got the hour in.
But
the prep time ruined that.
Yeah. Well, no, it was I think it's the weed. Well, I was like, oh shit. I feel like I have a lot more to work on now because it's like instead of 1, I have like 3.
Dude, I mean,
I'm gonna have to
because of how many cameras you got.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, dude, I from what I watched, and like I said, I probably watch podcasts or listen to them quite a bit. It's a direct angle, and maybe throughout the whole thing they might go back and forth or zoom in right on somebody.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to be spending any time on it.
Yeah.
Which I was, and I'm like,
well, and I just saw that when you were talking about it or whatever, so like that. So I was like, usually it's like a direct view.
Yeah.
I really like the PBD podcast too.
Yeah, he has like 3 guys on one
and
side
2 guys,
and him 2 on the other.
And so but he also has some dedicated.
Oh
yeah. He's got it. He's done a really good job for that stuff too.
Yeah, it's crazy how some of these guys just like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like most guys who've really popped off lately have been in the game for like 10 years or so.
Like in a podcast game?
Yeah. Like it seems like it's one of those things where you think somebody happens overnight, but then like it's only because you noticed it from the outside, and then they had been putting in like.
Well, and I also think that Joe Rogan was so dynamic of a person because he was in MMA. He had done the Fear Factor. Right, he had been on that. What was that comedy series he was for a while? Where he was like the dumb.
Yeah, but when he was super young.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. A news radio.
Yeah, news radio, whatever. So he had already a great like following.
Yeah.
All the way. Like, I mean, he was diverse in a bunch of different areas, whatever. Yeah. And then you have who's the owner of UFC? Dana White. Yeah, encouraging them and then all, and so I mean, he just had a dynamic group of people to interview.
Yeah,
he smoked weed, didn't give a shit.
That's like one of those stories where, it seems like all the stars aligned in all these different like.
I don't think Joe Rogan would tell a story that they all aligned. I think he would say that he went through a lot of hard work.
No, for sure. Yeah. But what I guess,
especially comics.
Not that I think he was lucky.
Yeah.
What I mean is like he had this like perfect culmination of abilities, like the ability to speak and comedy, the ability to appeal to like the fighter community. Yeah. So he had all these like unique skill sets that like other people wouldn't have.
I have a theory about comedians are already. I think they are actually the upper echelon of our community because they're already super intelligent, right? If you think about any comedian like Chappelle. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, they're very knowledgeable about a lot of things they're funny about or whatever, and they have some really deep perspectives on things. Right? Yeah. Like, and then they become really good actors on top of it, stuff like that. So I always find comedians to be like, because they can kind of have the freedom to say what they want and make jokes about what they want or whatever.
Yeah.
They have a unique perspective on everything else. And Joe Rogan's one of those guys where like, have you ever heard him speak with Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Probably one of my favorite Joe Rogan shows. Right?
He has like 2 or 3 with him now.
And Alex gets pissed off. He goes, Joe, you know all this shit. Why don't you talk about it? Well, Joe Rogan, I mean, when he's talking to some of these experts, he has a pretty good knowledge base.
It's crazy to me. So, man, without sucking Joe Rogan's dick too hard in the first 10 minutes of his podcast,
I didn't know we were doing that.
Joe Rogan is like literally my like shining star on podcasting and relationships. Yeah. Like, and my sister and I like fight over Joe Rogan so often.
Why? What do you mean you fight over him?
She fucking hates him and I love him, you know? And it's just one of those things where...
I'm going to guess because I've never met your sister. She's pretty liberal.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's what's crazy is like she's pretty liberal. She's in the medical community, and then I'm decently liberal. Mm-hmm. Like when I talk to you and Rachel, I can tell Rachel leans pretty left, and I can see you like center right.
Yeah.
And so I sometimes I feel like I fall just pretty much straight right in the narrow, mm-hmm. or like right in the middle.
So you're center too.
Yeah. I come from more of a left leaning perspective, but so it's just funny to like see you guys' relationship, like you and Rachel.
Oh, but
to backtrack, fuck, man, I am stoned. Holy fuck. It's so hard.
I didn't even Jamie right now. What is center leaning? What is center point mean? What is I know what left and right is.
I see. Okay, well, here's what I believe. I believe that most people try to pick this center right, left, right, extreme right, extreme left, whatever, so like that. But usually it's about the policies more than it's anything, right?
Sure.
It's usually about a couple things that is a core thing to that person individually.
Mm-hmm.
And then we designate them on where they fall between this integer or whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think when you really talk to people, Rachel included, about real core issues, and you have an open conversation, say, hey, this thing about abortion's way more complex than just one aspect of it.
Right.
I mean, you can't tell all the religious people who've been.
Can I look at this real quick? Well, yeah. This will just help the audio be a little better.
I came out dyslexic.
I think I came out dyslexic.
But I think that if you talk about the core issues and you really have a conversation about how complex they are, it's just not like one final thing about abortion. There's not one final thing about immigration. But you can you can just say, oh yeah, like you're doing all this. Okay, well, you know what?
Well,
is it a little more complex than just like allowing everyone to our country, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little more about security and being able to afford it, and where's the money coming from, and I mean, there should be open conversations about what's the best thing for us, and it's not an easy conversation to have.
Yeah, but shutting down the conversation over just one extreme view or the other,
and yelling at the other person only shows me that you're not open to.
And that conversation doesn't really get anywhere. Right. It's just like hard lines.
Yeah, but when you start asking really detailed questions, even about abortion or whatever stuff like that, I don't think any man is going to say some girl who got raped should have a baby.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, it's not even a liberal or conservative thing. I don't think any man I've ever met said that he would be like, that's bull crap, right? And you have to be like a super religious person to even justify that view in my aspect. And if you had that view and that's how you lived your life, I should be able to respect that, but be able to let you know. I was like,
yeah,
that doesn't set well.
That's how I grew up.
It doesn't set well with me,
I grew up on such that one hard line. It was just like,
band.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Rubber band.
Oh, okay. It's funny. So we were talking about this off camera, but I would love for you to explain that. It's like a pendulum, but
you guys said it was like a pendulum with ideas and concepts.
Yeah, so it swings from one side to the other.
Let's call them movements or whatever you want to say, whatever. I think that when you run over people's faith and religion and everything else with your extreme idea or whatever it is or whatever stuff like that, you're going to only stretch so far before it snaps back, and you're going to have rebellion and resentment and everybody else who's going to attack you for being too extreme, whatever stuff like that. So I think like Black Lives Matter, when that came out, of course I read everything, so I read into Black Lives Matter and the indoctrination and how it was breaking up the nuclear family and the Black community and who it was started by and everything else, and that's what it was about. When it got propaganda or whatever stuff, because Black people get really emotional or whatever stuff, it's like, oh, it's Black Lives Matter. That wasn't even really what the original doctrination of Black Lives Matter, the mission statement, meant, right?
Yeah.
And then when you review Black Lives Matter and you go, okay, so wow, what was all these accomplishments we met with Black Lives Matter?
Right.
Everyone's like, well, that's a good point. I was emotional at one point. I was just about because I was pissed off about a whole bunch of other stuff, Floyd. I was emotional, but I never asked, what are we getting?
Yeah, what
for
are we
all
trying
these
to achieve?
Revolts and burning down our neighborhoods and everything else?
Yeah.
Whatever. And then I have a huge amount of friends that are very democratic, and they're like, oh, Black Lives Matter. And I ask them, I say, okay, well, what's Black Lives Matter stand for? Have you looked at the 501(c) and read their mission statement?
Yeah.
98% of them, like, what are you talking about? they didn't want to talk about it, right? So when you address somebody, I love when people challenge me and say something to me that I didn't even conceive, like my perspective never considered.
Right.
Right? Because I just became more intelligent. I was like, dude, you're right.
Yeah.
I never thought about
how to that point, how often does that happen to you? Where somebody like really fucks you with like a mental nugget, you're like, oh my God.
I would say I'm pretty blessed with some pretty intelligent people, right? So, I would say where it hits me very like hard. I'll tell you a perfect example. I have a really good friend in LA that I hang out with all the time. He's been in LA forever, 4th generation, very wealthy, Hispanic guy, right? And he's like all about deporting Mexicans, and he's Mexican, right? He's 2nd generation Mexican.
Sure.
Right? So I'm all over. I was like, you're a ruthless bastard. Right? We're straight. Like, well, how could you want to deport? Right? So we're ruthless with each other, right? So we shoot each other straight. And I have a lot of friends that we're just raw dog hard, right? Like we love each other. We love each other, but you're not gonna slide no bullshit by us, right?
Clip.
Right.
Holy shit, dude. That was good.
I'm just saying, we're just ruthless with each other. And I'm on him. I was like, and it's only me. I'm the black guy around about 20 Mexicans, this whole family.
Yeah.
Right? And half his family's like, this guy, you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Hodge? Right? And I'm on him. I was like, dude, you should be like Moses down at the border, like, let my people go.
Right.
Right? And you're over here.
And instead,
you want to deport your own family. Yeah, ruthless.
Yeah.
Mexican. Yeah, right? So we always go back and forth or whatever on the whole thing. But he told me something. I was like, I remember I was watching about the immigration people come over the border. And it was during the Democrats were saying how border crossings had dropped 60%, right? So I hit him. I was like, hey, Biden, those guys said borders are dropping 60%. He goes, yeah, Mike, because it's 140 in the desert. I never thought about that. I've never had to cross a border during the year and think what the best time to cross the border is. Right. But when he said it was 140 in the desert,
then you're like, oh.
Of course immigration's going down, right? Of course people are going to come over and watch.
Baby, you don't have to call.
that was impressive there. Yeah. I felt like that was, exactly. Yeah. But I was but when he told me that, my concept, because watching TV told me that border crossings went down. Yeah. And I thought it was something the Democrats did. And he's like, no, that summer it was 140 in the desert. People die really fast in the desert. And I was like,
people tend to die quicker in the desert.
One of those times I felt stupid because I never,
oh my God.
Never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
That was true.
Dude, yeah. Okay. So the reason I asked that, because I was just like, you seem to be a person that is like very committed to learning. I mean, even our conversation about AI, you're just like, all right, well, let's dial down and spend some time learning this new stuff. Yeah. And it feels like Cindy and I were talking about like growing pains, and I'm just like, man, I feel like I learned so much, and it like hurts mentally and emotionally sometimes when I like move forward, and then I'm like, do you think that maybe I've learned enough now so I can settle down and, slow like
learn enough? I mean, I don't know what learned enough means.
I know, but so I'm being I'm being facetious.
Well, I love this conversation.
And so then I'm just like, dude, you were just a person that I can just tell that you're just like committed to learning and growing and like doing better. Yeah. And so it's like, so how often do those moments, because I just feel like I know everything in my fucking ego. And I'm like, I've learned all the stuff and I have this ego. And then 2 minutes later.
Who do you think has the biggest ego in the world? What country?
America, I would say.
You ever travel to other countries? We're the dumbest people on the whole planet, right?
So stupid.
And we have the most access.
Yeah.
Right? We're like the fat, greedy people of the whole planet who complain, like eggs. Everyone's like, oh my God, eggs. I was like, oh my God, we might have to pay more for eggs. I've been to countries where their 7-year-old girls are banging me with a bowl, asking me for money or waiting for the scraps off my thing or whatever, and we're complaining.
Wait, do they hold the bowl while you bang them?
They're banging me, and that sounded wrong when I said it too. Okay. I got a trick to that one.
That was...
Cut.
You got tricked into that one. That's what you said.
Cut that one right there, dude. Yeah, that guy's... Not as high as he said he was. That was pretty good,
right there. Man, dude.
But I'm saying that I've been in other countries where like the main income is prostitution and drugs.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, I'm in class, and you have like 9 nieces, and you're like, come back to America. You're like, we're pretty blessed here.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we have the opportunity to have most countries they don't even know how to read or any of that stuff. Right. Imagine if you didn't know how to read.
How many? That's another thing that I think that the first night that we hung out, we connected on was just traveling and experiencing different cultures, and it's such a. I think everybody should do it if you can afford it or whatever, but like get out and and not just like I mean, I love all inclusive resorts in Mexico, but not just that. Like just like hit some.
Even I don't care if it's all inclusive in Mexico.
Yeah, for sure.
You're still in a whole different culture area, right? And hopefully you don't just stay on the all inclusive and you like go out into Cabo.
But even learning from like all inclusives, like dude, the first time I went, I was like, Mexicans are way nice. Like, really fucking friendly. And I was like,
this is the ego arrogant American thing. So I have friends that tell me, aren't you afraid you're going to get kidnapped when you go to Mexico? And I go, okay, first of all, I'm 6'3" and 250. I don't know if anyone's sitting in the van going, let's get this one walking out right now. This big ass black guy's going to take 4 of us to drag into the fucking van. Crazy. Right? Second of all, what's arrogant about us is that every other country goes to the same exact area and has no problem at all. Right? Why? It's American propaganda thinking that Mexicans are out kidnapping us or whatever. The tourist industry for the cartel is probably one of the biggest revenues they make.
Yeah.
Right? They let nobody mess with you. Right? They don't want that stipulation or whatever stuff. And you got Australians and Canadians and Europeans. When I go to these other countries and they laugh, they're like, you guys are so funny. You guys, you're the only people who tip. The local people know. They find out you're American. Oh, you leave tip? It's like Canadians, Australians, like, wait, no, we don't give tips, whatever. But they don't have any issues. You never hear about Australian people getting shot in Tijuana or any other stuff like that.
Also, that's why they don't get handies under the table because they don't tip.
Right, handies under the table.
Yeah, I get handies all the time. Like everywhere I go, a little 20% tip, and like
and Jose's all over you.
But dude, do you want another ice cube?
Yeah, I'll take an ice cube if you don't mind.
Can we pause?
Yeah. Fuck Russell.
Fuck the pussy. I mean, cat.
Fuck Russell. He can wait. I need Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Fuck. This always happens where I take a break and I go piss or something, and then the conversation gets so good, and then I forget, like, oh, where were we before we left? And then
before I think we were talking about the pendulum and the rubber band.
Yeah.
Right. And I was talking about Black Lives Matter or whatever.
Yeah, like whatever the extreme is, it causes the reverse reaction. You can't
run over everyone's perspective and think that it's not going to have a.
Yeah. That's
the woke movement, even the woke thing. Right now,
that's a lesson that I've been learning a lot in the last couple of years. Is like trying to, like, I've been watching some of these narratives happen.
Yeah. At first, you're like, okay, well, man, these guys got some good ideas. I see what they're saying. And then you got a couple extreme guys that just start talking like crazy stuff or whatever, and you're like, okay, well, at first I was like feeling your movement or whatever stuff, but now you're talking about.
Yeah, now you have like
now you're like,
this is a different level than I signed up for up here. Or
now you're saying like my freedom, like when I'm walking around, I have to like address you a certain way, otherwise I'm an asshole. Yeah, and you're a victim or whatever. I was like, that's kind of extreme. Yeah, I'm not out to get you or whatever stuff, but you can't demand how I feel or I view things, whatever, So
I'm gonna pitch in. I know that I'm off camera. But I do think, like, a lot of people talk about, of course, there's a systemic racism in existence in America, but we're always talking about where we're not. And there's not a lot of respect or, like, acknowledgement about how far we've come. It's been a short time period compared to, like, world, like, evolution and, like, morality and just, like, altruism throughout, like, war used to be tough as fuck. People used to be savage. And we were drinking out of different faucets not so long ago. We were like
talking about the Gen X people.
Yeah. So I'm just like, like, this is systemic. It is fading out, and so I think that, like, it is a good call to, like, people think because it's not a regulation now, it doesn't exist. That's wrong. It's still systemic racism. There's still echoes, But I don't think that like in like the bolstering up of that and realizing that it still exists, that we don't give enough respect to how it doesn't exist anymore.
Well,
and I think that's what we're talking about, the rubber band versus the pendulum.
Well,
I
agree with you.
And being
I agree with you. I agree with you exactly for people like we were talking about. Exactly. I agree with you for exactly the reason for people like when I do meet Rachel, and maybe she's super liberal, but I think it's a blessing that if someone called me the N-word, Rachel might be the first person to say something.
100%.
Right? So even though she's super extreme, and that's what liberal means, right? Yeah. You're ahead of the game as far as the vision of the future, right? You know, like 100%. Civil rights, right? The liberal people were Martin Luther King and Malcolm, well, I don't know if Malcolm X was liberal, but I mean, Martin Luther King, where they were pushing the ideas to be, what in that time was extreme, right? Yeah. So me, and I tell Rachel, I go, racism now is not racism when I grew up.
Sure.
Right. When I grew up, my grandmother.
That was one of the first things I remember you saying when I hung out with you. Sorry, I just interrupted. Go ahead. But because some people were like, "Oh, it's gone so I guess too woke," or I'll hear that word.
Right.
And when you're like, dude, people aren't like calling me the N-word in the fucking streets anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, it's a better life for me now than it was then. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like my daughter's friends, they she has a bunch of white friends. They would go nuts if they said something to her or whatever. Like they would be in people's face or whatever, stuff like that. That wasn't the way it was where my mom.
Yeah, you're like, it's a lot more.
I remember growing up times where my grandmother would call all white people Cartwrights. I don't know if you know what Cartwrights means.
I don't.
There used to be an old Western show called Bonanza.
Yeah, I know that.
And the family were called the Cartwrights. They're all
That's
these white
funny.
people.
No way.
And nobody, my grandmother was Creole, black, and she was meaner than snot.
That's funny.
And I had white friends over. She's like, Mike, keep holding your hand with those Cartwrights. You're going to find out what happened. Right? And
dude, that's so good.
You can't trust them. But what?
Dude,
my mom would say that, and my great grandmother, whatever. So I grew up at a time where, think about this, literally warning your kid about meeting someone and already thinking that they're dangerous and evil and you can't trust them before, and a whole race. So my parents, and rightfully so, what they went through.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not unjustified.
It makes total sense to me.
They were killing and hanging and dragging people behind trucks and these guys as time.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. You couldn't look
white people in the eye, right? They were experimenting Tuscany experiments and all kind of crazy stuff, putting crack in neighborhoods and stuff. So I mean, back then they would hit you like, Mom, grandmother, Josh is a really nice guy. That's what we all say, right? Yeah. Let me tell you why I feel this way. And you'd be like, wow. So, right? And then on your end, you're being told something and you're also being indoctrinated. So we're in the same class. Indoctrinated. Where
propaganda
you're being told that black people are just like these ignorant people who didn't contribute to history or America or anything. Asian people too, and Indians, whatever. Like you're being told in history. In history, our subjects are, your subject is probably even smaller than mine, right? But mine was like Harriet Tubman and maybe Frederick Douglass was the whole part of this big ass history book. So I'm growing up going, wow, we didn't contribute anything. Yeah. Later on, I find out, I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? The whole Bible took place in Africa and the Middle East, right? Right. The Moors were in European, right? So what difference would we have been if we both grew up not indoctrinated, but learned about our true history? About what we all contributed. We probably would have a lot more respect for each other's contributions.
If we learned about
100%.
people and not about religion. Sorry, I keep on
No, you're part of the thing right there.
Dude.
We're gonna make you like Hecklefish every single day.
When you do,
this is where it's at though. Is the conversation about like being like respect to where we've been and acknowledgement. There was a debate that I was at, and it was about someone who was wrongfully incarcerated. But the byline was like, until the unaffected get pissed off, there will be no change. And so as much as I'm just like, this victim culture, these Karens, the people that bitch about are not like all these things are the ones that are unaffected, get for it, because things that like until they get trendy, they don't get adopted by everybody. There was recycle, refuse, reuse, recycle with the Jack Johnson song. There were fucking Gap t-shirts about fucking recycling before there were dumpsters in the street.
If you look at some of the stuff back in history, it's pretty horrific.
Before my good thing it is, because I think it'll push something and it'll move the needle. Like that's like one of Josh's favorite. Like that was like something of like, okay, so you're pushing it and then it'll settle. But I do think the rubber band thing, like that is the extremist, like right where you're just like as fuck.
Here's the positive thing about the rubber band thing. Remember before the rubber band stretched out this far, it was over here where it was like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
That we're progressing as a society and we're still here. Yeah. So the rubber band thing happened. But when it snapped back, it wasn't snapped back all the way. So it was a little bit further, right? So you kind of, once you go through the extremes, you kind of hopefully come back a little further before the rubber band extended or whatever. Now, that's not true in all situations.
That's probably better.
That's what I'm saying.
Like a pendulum. It's not like a metronome.
Yeah. Well, and now with all the knowledge, it's really hard not to be logical anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you said,
what do you mean by that?
Well, I'm saying that the more knowledge you gain, right? You say I'm a knowledge guy. The more knowledge I gain about any subject, the more logical I come before I respond emotionally to something, I think, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so let's say that your whole thing, how you're like, dude, it took this a long time to set this whole thing up. And then in a year, it takes you 5 minutes to set it up.
Yeah.
You were getting frustrated when it took you that long, right? But now you've gained the knowledge where it's no longer frustrating. You just know how to deal with the problems and issues, right?
But would I get frustrated if it took me 5 minutes instead of 30 seconds?
That's what you're
would I hold myself to it?
Well, no, because now when something goes wrong, you're going to know your knowledge is going to know how, oh, hey, this isn't, the sound bite's not going right. You're going to gain the knowledge to address the issue in a smaller period of time. So how could you get frustrated about it?
Yeah.
It's when the knowledge, when you're like, and sometimes I get this way, I have to walk away from stuff and let my mind, I go for like a mile walk. Let my mind like settle.
Yeah.
Or I'm in the shower or like I'm doing something, all of a sudden it clicks and goes, you know what? My knowledge caught up with the problem. And now I'm no longer frustrated. So I get frustrated in the beginning anymore. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
I was like, just give myself some time to like,
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. This reminded me of something I just posted, but my friend Nikki asked me this. So one of my struggles currently is feeling like I'm not doing enough. I'm chasing a lot of things, but like I still go to bed feeling like I haven't done enough. I haven't unaccomplished.
Yeah.
And I think I'm getting better at not feeling like that.
So you're feeling accomplished.
Yeah, I guess.
Why is that? Well, let's say right.
Okay,
why do you feel like you're
so to wrap the first question on this is just I talked about this with a friend of mine and was just talking about life, and she asked me this question that hit so fucking hard that like it was
one of those moments.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those moments.
And she said, Josh, what would it take for you to feel accomplished? And
what, did you have an answer?
No. And and then I talked to her. I was like, I don't think anything would.
Okay. I love this question. So here's what I asked. And I was last couple of years, I've been doing some consulting with businesses, law firm, tree service, probably the most diverse radar scanning equipment business or whatever stuff. Totally different industry. Okay. Totally different people. Right. And I asked all my friends who are millionaires, and I'd probably say like 70% of my friends are very well off on their businesses, right? And I asked them the same question. So what is the goal? And they all look at me like, what do you mean? I go, come on, dude, it's a pretty easy question, right? What is the goal? And first of all, how long is it going to take you to accomplish the goal? And let me quantify it because we're going to spend a bunch of time because you're not going to know you're not going to tell me right now. And I tell them, don't even answer me right now. When I consult people, don't even answer me right now. I want you to think about it for like a week, and then I'm going to come back to consult you. And I want you and your partners to actually have some goal. Is it to sell the company? Is it to make 40% more profit over the next 3 years? What is it the goal? Is it to retire? I mean, what is the goal, right? 99% of the people cannot answer that question. So if you have no goal, why would you feel accomplished to meet it, right? Did you play sports?
Yeah.
Okay, you play sports? Did you dance? Did you do anything that's competitive?
That's enough.
Right back to you. We're coming back to you. We're gonna finish this. We're gonna come back to that. I don't believe that, but I don't believe that, but we're going to come back to you. I promise. We're going to come back to you. Okay, so, but anyway, I said, what is the goal? And I have friends, I was like, okay, wow, you got $15 million in the bank. If you had another 5 million, what would be the difference? And they were like, nothing. Right? So you're not spending time with your kids right now? Even though you know nothing would change if you made 5 million. I mean, you're busting your ass or whatever, and your wife's there all day going back through soccer practice and dance class, and she's arguing with because you're not there and you're not helping and all this stuff. Yeah. When you could really be there because the goal, you've already got the goal.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't change. Right? You got second generation money, right? And I hit them, whatever, and some of my friends go like, fuck you, Hodge. Right? I'm like, why are you mad at me?
Money, right?
So it's a goal. So when you say you don't feel accomplished, when you played sports and your coach walked in, and let's say you played soccer or football or whatever, or stuff like that. What is the goal if you, at the end of the year, where do you want to be as a team? What's the goal, the ultimate goal?
You want
championship.
Right. The whole way at the top.
I love it, right? So if I walk in, you guys are my teammates, and I was like, I'm going to ask you guys what the goal. You guys are going to say the championship.
Yeah.
And I'm going to challenge you both. I'm like, are you sure that's where you want to be? Yeah. I go, do you know how much fucking blood and sweat we're going to have to put in to get to the championship?
No, actually, now that you say about blood and sweat, how about I just, can I just be state champion? No, of course not.
Oh, it looks like you're not starting.
Yeah.
Right? I know. Hey, Josh is out. What is the goal, right? Yeah. Josh, come back to me when you want it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to spend my time. I'm willing to dedicate my time as your coach, fucking blood and sweat, to make sure we get to the championship and do everything I can. Are you? And you know what you're going to tell me? Fuck yeah, coach, I'm ready, right?
Yeah.
And I go, Josh, I'm going to fucking push you. You're going to hate me. We're going to be doing jumping jacks and running to the fucking miles, and we're going to push-ups and dips, and I'm going to tell you you're a pice of shit. You better get, are you sure you want that? And you were like, yeah, coach.
Sign me up.
Sign me up, coach. Some of us need that. Some of us need somebody to come in and go, hey, sign me up, coach. Yeah. Right? And then during practice.
And then next day, I'll be like, abort.
And then I'm gonna be like this, Josh, you lied, Josh. Yeah. You lied to yourself and you lied to me because you told me and I asked you to take a week. There was a reason I told you to take a week, and you came back and told me your goal, and then within 1 day of practice you quit. So that wasn't. Yeah, and I was like, and so that wasn't the goal, Josh. Right? That wasn't the goal. So when you decide what your goal is, I'll tell you what you need to do to get it there. And if I lay it out and say we got to practice 5 times a week, because that's what we used to do when we were like kids, because that was our goal, right? Yeah. That's the last time it was true, right? Yeah. We were like 2 hours a day. We're in there, and I go down and do my homework. My grades got to be good. I got to do all stuff. I'm willing to do the majority of my time every day is going to go to my goal. Now we get older, and we compromise ourselves, and we're like, we say this is our goal, but if we hold ourselves responsibility, it's not our goal. And so when you say like the whole like podcast, you want to get big AI. Me, I have 4 yellow pads with lists on different shit. What needs to be done at the house. Yeah. Where I want to like travel, what I got to do in this, or my obligation as a partner or something else. And I have to check it off. Yeah. Otherwise I have to be accountable when 3 days goes by and not one day's been checked off on all 5 notepads. And I've partied till 4 a.m. Right? And I was
classic.
Like, you lied. You lied, Hodge. You lied. This is not your goal, Hodge. I have to coach myself. You lied, Hodge. You didn't do And then I get obsessed. Next 3 days, I won't answer my phone calls, my friends, or anything else. I'm blah, 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 blah. But guess when I feel the best?
You double down on the snapback of the
My new thing is everything could be measured. Okay. Right? You have a right to have downtime.
Yeah.
Right? And say, hey, I don't want to do it with my friends. Like my friends, they call me. I've been calling you a text message. I saw that motherfucker. Leave a voicemail, and when I get a chance, I'm going to call you back. I feel no obligation to take away from my goal to make you feel better about it either, okay? Yeah. I love you, but sometimes I got to focus on my shit.
Do you, in the general sense, how quick do you answer the phone? Or your phone, not?
I would say it depends. Like, I put my phone upside down. Yeah. When I'm working. Yeah. I turn my silence, my ringer's not on.
And then like, is that like 8 hours?
I think society's pushed you to feel like you have to respond to people.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's a slave mindset.
Yes.
Right?
Also,
I don't want to let these people down, or I don't want to miss out on something. Yeah. Right? And me, I'm like, I don't want to, I don't want to feel controlled that way. Like I have friends where I was like, hey, you know what? Wow, I saw you call me, text message me and left a voicemail. And I want to let you know that's not necessary. Right? I told my friends, they're like, you're a dick.
Yeah.
You can leave me a voicemail, and when it's convenient for me, I'm going to call you back. And I go, have I never called you back? And they're like, no, you call me back all the time. So don't ever, unless we're fucking, I told my guy friends, call me that much.
Clip that
many times.
I mean, honestly, if we're like for a female, if like just girl, like men,
that might be the only reason I'm accepting for you to call me that much.
I guess guys don't mind it if you over text them if they're getting laid. But boys, do not text a girl if you're fucking them too much.
That's not what I was saying, but I like your point. But
opposite that. Yeah. I guess so. We're like, oh, girls.
Well, here's what I'm saying.
Like, you don't mind a girl that's.
Let's say I'm in a relationship. Right. Well, let's say I'm in a relationship, and you already know that I own a couple companies, and I work all the time.
Yeah.
And you call me 4 or 5 times, and I don't answer your phone call during the day, and then I call you back, and you're upset with me, and you're like, why didn't you answer your phone? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And I was like, listen. I don't know what about me is not a boss, but I don't answer like 7 questions right when I answer the phone. I'm working, and when I work, I focus. And when I'm with you, I don't answer my phone. If I'm with a girl, I turn my phone upside down, my ringer off. I'm with you. You got my full attention or whatever stuff. I go, but I don't feel the demand to stop a meeting while I'm giving a presentation because you feel insecure about me not answering your phone call.
So good.
Right? I'm working, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. And I go, and I'm not, and I'm amongst other people in the room. Right?
Yeah.
So how am I going to look going, hey, the total dynamical structure of the graph, but hold on. My girl's insecure right now.
Yeah.
Hey, babe, I'm in the middle of a meeting. Right? I was like, that to me, that's weakness for me showing and insecurity in our relationship that I'm presenting.
It would make good TV, though.
Oh, well, of course. Well, so would mine. Right? Like, it'd be bzz. Anyway, guys, like I was saying, yeah, right?
Speaking of, this is a kind of a side note, but I thought of this funny thing that I thought would be funny. I don't know if it's going to be funny. But,
okay. Thanks for setting us up.
So we were in Nashville, and the hotel had those earplugs, like the more advanced ones where they have like
AirPods?
No, earplugs.
Plugs, okay.
So it's like smaller rubber, bigger rubber, you know, so it's not just the foamy ones. Right. It's like the
clogs here. Okay.
Yeah. And which is really smart because that Airbnb was in really close to Broadway.
Okay.
And then,
I was trying to catch up.
Yeah.
You're saying you had Airbnb and it was so loud on because it is in Nashville. I've been there.
Yeah.
And so they had earplugs for you.
Yeah. Honestly, you got me too high and I'm drunk, so I'm not explaining as well.
I'm fluent in Caucasian. Don't worry about it.
Hell yeah. So anyway, they had a couple of plugs, and I was just thinking about it because I was like, yeah, this would be smart to like listen to music in all this loud environment.
Right.
And then I was thinking about how people are annoying at the bar and people just start chirping and you're just like, yeah,
all the time.
Yeah. And so I thought next time that happens to me, I'm going to have this little pair of earplugs. I'm going to be, yeah.
As you put it right in front of them?
Yeah.
I love it.
Just put them in right in front of them.
I love it, dude.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah.
I love it,
it's like
dude.
when you wear like headphones in the mall, but you're just like...
and just right in front of their face. The
bad part about that is
that's really mean.
You might be missing some really good material.
I know. And that is really mean. Oh, yeah. But holy fuck. Sure.
Yeah. No, we were at my house and we're talking and Rachel kept cutting me off every time I talked. So I was like, come on, man, can I talk? And that's what me and my buddy used to do that when we were both in relationships to our girlfriends at the same time. And they'd be like, you two think you're funny. We're like, we're just trying to get one like word in, maybe a comma or something.
Maybe just
I was like, come on, man.
Dude, so what's going to be fun is I got you in the podcast. Then I'm gonna get Rachel on the podcast.
Oh, dude!
And then I'm gonna get the two of you.
Listen, but I think actually both of us are freaking hilarious.
Oh, you're fucking funny.
Way I was cracking up, dude.
What if we could do the thing that like spins around 360 in the middle of the table, and it's supposed to do like it's like it rotates around, right? The movement thing, I have it.
You mean like in China where they have the food
like,
and you rotate? It would
be right here, and then we could all be in a circle, just like chilling.
Wait, it's a camera thing?
Yeah, you gave it to me.
Oh, I know what you mean. I think it only works if there's like a subject that it can latch onto and it follows. But if it's in the middle, it probably won't.
Is there like a little sensor?
You guys, you know I'm going to nerd out and look at all the technology now.
Then we can just pass the remote
well, so, okay, so, dude, the talking stick will be necessary if I have us four together. That will be necessary.
Oh. So,
oh my God, dude.
One night, sorry, you go ahead.
So, okay, so I am friends with very dynamic people.
I got it. Listen, trust me.
And So
I love it.
I'm an extreme extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
My sister is. Cinda is. David is. Actually, David might be a little bit introverted, but when he's in the right company and the right drugs, he is extremely extroverted.
Right.
And then my buddy Paul.
Yeah.
And am I missing one? So we were all sitting around my dining room table, and 5 personality, or maybe 6, that just cannot shut the fuck up. Just in the middle of this chaos.
Good thing Rachel has all 6.
And
totally joking. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Timer between
joke. That was a joke, right?
We ran a timer.
Look her in the camera. Say you're sorry.
Every person got like 90 seconds to speak.
Yeah.
And then we would just like pass the the phone around, and then we would have
what do we use for the stick?
There was just a timer for a phone, so then we had a bell.
Yeah.
And like it was like a next time it should be an egg timer because it's more easy.
Yeah.
All right.
But and then we should also have like a 3-minute open discussion, just like response, because people could like either respond in their 90 seconds or say the next thing they wanted to say.
Dude.
But it like kept it really quick and going around.
There's some conversations at my house that we've gotten into. They've gotten like some, even like amongst like me and like all my black friends, that we've gotten some conversations. And I'm more of a dick to them, whatever, about like, you fucking lazy fucks. Look at you right now, right? I go, what are you talking? And so we've got some conversations, and it's not only pure comedy, but it's gotten to some deep. I have a couple of friends that are like teachers and principals and stuff like that. We've got some conversations about the education, and they're like mad at me and stuff like, oh yeah, we don't get paid enough. And I'm like, dude, you get 4 months off.
Yeah.
Like right on before. And they're like, I go, and you get mad? And they're like, well, and I go, listen, I'm going to tell you, I put my daughter in private school for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? 30 kids, 1 teacher is way too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, for sure. So I agree with you guys on that point or whatever stuff. I go, but once I look at all your benefits and how much time you off, I too will stop what I'm doing if I get 4 months off a year.
Yeah.
Fully paid, medical and everything else, and only have to work 8 months a year. I go, it makes me think like, well, maybe I gotta look.
They get paid less the other 8 months though, so that they get their pay is spread out, and so it's just like whatever they would get annually, they can make salary.
Well, they make
they don't work for 4 months, but they also don't
one of my
friends
has his master's. Yeah, one of my friends has his master's, so he's at the higher echelon of the teacher, so he makes about 68, 70 grand a year. Then he gets 100% medical, which is huge. It's even huger for a female, which is 75% of the workforce in the teacher education. Right?
Benefits are great.
Yeah, but I'm saying benefits.
Yeah,
as you get older, benefits are like the shit.
And especially because
if you retire after 20 years, you get like 80.
Women that mean benefits for their family too, and so that's good.
All their kids. So me, I'm like, pretty good deal.
And summer vacation, they have families.
And especially a good deal. And I know I'm gonna get in trouble if you put this on. Pretty good deal for a non-performance industry. Okay, my business. When you own a business, you're in a performance thing. If you don't perform, you don't get paid.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay. That's it.
Right? So when you're in a teacher, right?
I thought you meant like creative arts. I was like,
well, even creative arts. If you're an artist, if you don't perform, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
Starving
so
artist.
Actually, it does work.
You don't slay, you don't eat.
Yeah.
So right there. So if we're a non-performance, sales, like it's like 100% commission. One of the artists I tell him, he does, and no teacher likes. I was like, well, if I paid you for every A, B, C, and D, right? And A's would mean like you would get like $1,000 for every kid in your class for every year got an A.
Yeah.
I go, and then $1,200 for a B, $800 for a C, on down to D. F's nothing.
Yeah.
You get shit, right? Guess what you would be doing? He's like, what? Working overtime, having study groups on the weekend.
Yeah.
You would be making sure that you hit the higher part of your paycheck because now you're invested.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, I only can take on 20 clients. I can't take on 30 clients. I can take on 20 clients.
Okay. Need to figure out. You did?
Yeah, boss.
Okay.
Boss, you have boss.
There's like teachers are always like
Thank you.
I do feel like the complaint is they're underpaid so often. And yeah, they are underpaid. But the benefits, like the workforce and the like thing like that it especially high school and under, that's predominantly women. They
75%.
And so they're getting great benefits for all of that. I also don't have to pay for childcare during that time because they have like summer vacations off. They get to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of like other like, and also people don't get into the teaching like a profession unless they want to do that. That's something they're excited about, and so maybe the system and like the micromanaging.
Listen,
I'm like fucking break you down, but you should be wanting like because you love kids and you want them to fucking learn. And you're excited about making that happen.
Well, and I think, like anything, you can start off loving kids, and then after teaching for 10 years, you'd be like, these little rat bastards. I mean, my buddy I'm talking about, he taught at the alternative school.
Yeah.
So he had the worst. He had the worst of the worst. And I remember one time I was going up there to talk, like motivational talk. He's like, hey, I want to come to class talk. So I'm walking to his class, and this is like, what's it, 7th, 8th, and 9th or something like that, or whatever, I'm walking and I'm trying to look for his class, and there's these 3 girls walking towards me, and they're all dressed way like, they should be compared to when I grew up. Right? Let me put it that way. And so I stop and I go, hey, do you know where Mr. So-and-so, I almost said his name, Mr. So-and-so's class is?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you must be Mr. Hodge, blah, blah, blah. And they start talking to me, and like, they kind of surrounded me and everything else. And I all of a sudden felt my back against the locker, and I go, hey, I'm just, and then and he happened to come out in the hall and goes, hey, you 3 get you to class, blah, blah, and everything else.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Never when I went to high school would you ever see 3 women approach an adult in the middle of the hallway at the school. Like that was just so outside the upbringing I came up to.
Yeah, that's wild.
Right? And so this is alternative school. So I remember going in there and so I was like talking to all those guys.
Like, what are you teaching these kids?
Well, who are your parents? Right? When I grew up, your parents, right? You knew who those kids were.
Yeah.
Your parents would be like, hey, don't hold around so-and-so. Mom's a meth head and blah, blah, blah. I grew up in North Pole, Alaska, so it was like very village town orientated.
I always forget about that.
Yeah, so small town. So like your daughter or your son doing this or being vandal, it would get back. All the families would know it. The parents would know it or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like that, it would be like a community thing. Right? Yeah. We knew who the bad family was that they don't hang around those guys or whatever, stuff like that. If I see you around those guys, your dad or mom will say something. So very community orientated, where now it's so social and you don't even know who's talking to who. And
how many people are in the town?
Well, my parents were married at North Pole, at Santa Claus's house at North Pole, Alaska. Literally, I can't make this shit
up. That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah, can't make it up.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's
yeah. The North Pole allows black people?
Yeah, right there.
That's
sometimes everyone say
You
that.
can't say that.
Yeah, you know what? They were right after Idaho, allowing black people in.
Holy shit.
I don't came in. Right after the purchase of Alaska.
Oh my God.
Like, you know what? That's where we're sending them.
All right.
Alaska.
Yep.
Right there.
Holy shit.
Actually, Alaska at that time had some of the biggest military bases.
Oh.
Yeah, and the population of Alaska was only 500,000 at that time.
Yeah.
And so I think it was probably 80,000 military.
Huh.
And the rest is fishing.
And your parents were military.
My dad was military,
yeah.
So he was on Fort Wainwright. My grandmother was on the pipeline.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so my mom, my biological father, my mom had left my biological father, and my grandmother was on a pipeline and moved to Alaska. And then she met my stepdad, who raised us like since we were kids, and he was in the military. So we lived on a military base and stuff like that. So yeah. No, and we grew up, perfect example. We grew up, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
Still this day, all 4 of my brothers, we meet old people. We talk to people we respect. It's yes, sir, no, sir, whatever, so like that. So just a whole different mindset. Like, and what a simple thing, yes sir, no sir, that shows people right off the bat that you have some kind of decent upbringing, right? So
you have like
it deflates the whole conversation when you respect people right off the bat like that. Yeah. Or military. It is. Or military. Right?
Yeah.
Even military. Both. Yeah, my dude.
Well, so what I used to say, I never said yes or no, sir, growing up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And
I was LDS, right?
Baptist. But I wasn't taught to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yeah. I was more of like a mommy's boy, like mommy, I love you, like mom. Right. So it was like
mom. It wasn't something that like your parents instilled on you, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if it was even like culturally up there as much.
Well, think about how many black people had to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am in history.
Fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to like communicate and survive. So it's one of those things like, was it transgressed through generations?
Yeah.
Right? Or is it military or whatever? So that's crazy.
You just described it as a sign of respect, though.
Well, you can.
So that's cool. That evolution of like how it like started and like that's
Well, I grew up in a matriarch type family for sure. Yeah, my grandmother was straight Creole, like cold-blooded. Like helped out the whole family. Everyone kind of depended on her. My mom was more of like you know what, grandmother, you're not gonna hold stuff over my head. She was more like the rebel of the family.
Okay.
But she was also probably the most successful and sane person in the family too. But my grandmother was like World War II vet. Creole. Carried a .25 pistol in her pocket at all times.
Hard as fuck.
I remember growing up where my mom and grandmother got in a fight over my older brother. And my grandmother grabbed like a butcher knife, because my mom disrespected her, and like went after my mom, and my grandma's like this little woman. My mom's like, I remember this kid going, I remember going through some stuff with like growing up where I was like, dude, what is going? My grandmother was there was the Panthers back when my mom was growing up, and there was another counter black party called the Us. My mom was part of the Us.
Okay.
Panthers got more like NORAD, but my mom was part of the Us. Had the Angela Davis afro.
Are they still like kind of in this like pushing for some of the same goals, but like also different? She grew up in the civil rights, but they're still like they have their different.
Like they still kind of had this just a little bit of different indoctrination.
It was like more like
it was against like white suppression and everything else. And it was also, you remember the Panthers, what they really were afraid of is arming all blacks in America right there. Because once we got the rights, they're like, now we have the rights to arm ourselves. Right. So the Hoover and all those other guys were like, we don't want these guys. Malcolm X and those guys had those guys nervous or whatever, stuff like that. Yeah. And they're just releasing documents about how the FBI and all those guys were assassinating and had part of those guys' assassinations too, right there. So it was a big fear of that stuff like that when they got the right. So because they were like, okay, we don't have to march unarmed anymore.
Yeah.
Now we can protest. Blah, blah. So that was a big fear back then. So it's a crazy time back then. Compared to now. That's why I say racism is so different now. There's like, my daughter's like, that's microaggression. I go, what?
Thank goodness.
What's microaggression?
That's dope.
Well, you know how people do their hair and braid. And I'm like, okay, you know how much privilege you are to even think about, have a word microaggression, like compared to like me and your grandmother and your mom, a great grandmother, something like that. I'd like the microaggression. They'd be laughing at your ass back in the 60s if you came up with a microaggression thing.
Yeah, my roommate, like she had a teacher that was just like, oh yeah, a lot of Africans would think that way.
That's that dumb American thing, dude. That's a dumb American thing.
Ooh, I was gonna ask you early, speaking of that, because your perspective is very educated, and it's like it's known, I feel, because like not only have you lived a bunch of shit early, you are very well traveled. And so
my favorite saying is, I'd rather be well traveled than well educated any day.
Dude, because that's the education.
Yeah, right? Like education is indoctrination.
But you like when you see cultures like in their in these different forms, and you immerse yourself a little bit, and I haven't even done it as much as I want to, but like when you spend some time with these people,
are you really wise if you're not well traveled?
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I asked. Like, you get the best education in the world, but
all of these different perspectives from all over the planet, and I thought that I had it. I thought that I had the answers. I thought that
well, nothing's better than make you shocked about your beliefs than when you go to a different culture.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in China with a bunch of, like, I had like 17 factories I was working with.
Yeah.
So I went to China. Perfect example of your perspective. I go to China and it's everyone walking around, man. It's nothing like anything you've ever seen. And in their mindset, if you're not moving, you're in the way.
Yeah.
And they have the right to push you out the way because they know where they're going. Right. So you can't just stop. And then, you know how people just stop and start taking pictures and doing that shit? China, you're getting mowed over, right? Like, these guys are crossing streets. They're on their fucking mission. They're catching buses and trains and like it's moving, right? And they have no crime. The cops are walking around with guns, right? You see cops maybe walking around with flashlights because in China, if you get in trouble, the military shows up. Okay, there ain't no fucking cops. It's like tanks and
it's like 0 to 1,000.
You want to fuck around? No, we're gonna put you in a camp and you're not gonna be. No one's gonna know where you're for 2 years, whatever. And they shut off your water. I mean, China's right. So I was talking to these 17 factory owners, and they take me to this big, fancy restaurant where you pick your live food out in front of you. So if you want chickens, or like chickens, if you want. Like, cat, and you want seafood, it's alive and stuff like that. So me, I'm like, oh, dude, in China, I'd probably drop like 20 pounds right there. I was like, I'll take salad.
I love farm people, but I need that.
I was reading articles where they were injecting rats with steroids and selling this chicken on the street. So me, once I read some shit like that, I was like, yeah, I'll take some boiled eggs.
You're like, if you want to bring the lettuce leaf over, I will chop it down and eat it.
I will rinse it first.
Yeah. So they have this drink that only the rich people, like factory workers, and it's called like Motai or something, and it's in this little stem glass with like smaller than our shot or whatever stuff, because we're always obese on everything we do, right?
Right.
So that's what
right.
Like all the steaks are half the size, right? We've got tomahawks, right? So you already feel like you're like a Greek. So I drink this Motai and I drink it and stuff, and these guys are like sipping on it, and I'm eating this food, and they got the big round table that you like slide, all the dishes are on, right?
They rotate
so we started
around.
talking politics, right? And I was like, well, I don't understand this, and why don't you guys have more democracy and blah 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 and stuff like that? And I can see these guys are like,
fucking Americans and their democracy.
And so one of the guys, his name is Mr. Sun. He goes, Mike, how many Americans are there in the United States? I go, like 300, maybe a little over 300 million. He goes, yeah, you're probably good. We're shocked that right? It's like 300 million, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, how many people in China? I go, like 1.3 billion? He goes, yes. Right? And he goes, and you own your own company? He goes, yes. And he goes, you have a kid? He goes, I got a daughter. He goes, okay. So if I had 20 children and you would give me advice on how I should run my 20 children and you only had one child, what would you fucking say to me? And I was like, I was like,
so this is
one of those moments where I was like, he's like, you know how hard it is to govern, and you guys don't do a good job. The world doesn't think you do a good job with the thing. 1.3 billion? He goes, you know what? You don't want 1.3 billion to ever decide on one day. And I go, what? He goes, the same thing. He goes, you don't want 1.3 billion people to decide the same thing on one day because your country's done, right? When you have 1.3 billion, you have to manage them completely different than you manage your one kid, right? And then you guys come over and tell the whole world, hey, India, Africa, everyone else, you guys are wrong. You should do it this way. Hey, fuck you.
Come talk to me when you have 1.3 billion.
Dude, the owner of the LDG, he told me the exact same thing like a couple of weeks ago. Almost same argument. He's just like
another mind where I was like this. I thought I was wise. I thought I was wise, but I'm not wise.
Oh yeah, that's one of those for me right now.
It was a revelation for me. I was like, wow. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, that's one of those for me right now. That's
other time I was in China that I was educated is I told my employees, I had an office over there and like 2 or 3 employees, and I was like, hey, I'm coming over this time. I want to go to the Great Wall. It's always been like one of the things I wanted to go to. They're like, okay, whatever. So we go to the Great Wall. We're sitting in line, and they have like a ski lift that takes you to the Great Wall, and there's like long line. And I'm the only black guy in this line, and there's probably thousands of people in this line, right? And they are staring at me like I'm Bigfoot. Okay, they're like, and my employees are getting mad because respect's big in China. Like, hey, why are you blah 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 stuff like that? And I tell my boys, calm down, listen, no problem, right there.
Yeah.
For what? So we take a ski up and we get up on the wall, and these guys just start coming up to me and they're rubbing my skin. And I'm like, hey, so what are they doing? It's like, well, they've never seen a black person.
Yeah.
Right? And me, when you get dropped in China, you can't tell the different Chinese people because you're so overwhelmed that your mind's like, they mostly look alike. Right? Yeah. But that's not true. Right? This is you. Your mind's trying to perceive what you're doing, right? And so they're rubbing me and stuff, and he's like, I go, hey, dude, calm down. It's okay. I feel like I'm Black Jesus. Let him
You're just embracing it.
Right. After 20 minutes of people, like a whole bunch of different people rubbing you, you're like, okay, you know what? Yeah. I'm kind of cool. And I was like, I tell him, I was like, okay, I'm ready to get off. He's like,
but I have no more wine.
Well, I go like this, and this is how ignorant I am. I go, okay, dude, I'm ready to get off. Where's the exit? He goes, I don't know. This is my first time on the Great Wall, too. And I go, what do you mean you've never been here?
No
right? He
way.
goes, not all the people have been to the Great Wall of China. Like, does everyone go to Disney or has everyone been to Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Right? Stupid American.
Yeah.
Right? When he says it to me, I'm like, you're right. What an ignorant person I am right there. To think that just because you're Chinese, you've been to the Great Wall. Right? And he's like, no. And he goes, but the Great Walls are rite of passage for a lot of people who live in inner China.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you live on the port, that's where the big cities are.
Yeah.
They're more liberal and more modern, but some of these people live in villages and everything else.
Yeah.
They came to the Great Wall. They've never seen a black person before. They might have seen them on TV, but like you're the first black person you saw or whatever stuff. I was like, trip me out.
That happened to my blonde friend.
Trip me out.
South America.
Oh yeah. Especially if you're tall blonde.
Yeah.
Tall blonde.
You're tall.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like you're.
I stopped to like put one of those Chinese outfits on. I put like this. I'll have to show you the picture. I have like this. I put this emperor outfit on and stuff like that. Dude, almost started a riot. Like these guys were taking so many pictures. I felt like I was Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson walking through the whole thing.
Dude.
Then they asked me to take pictures, and they didn't want me to take a picture with their whole family. They wanted me to hold the babies and shit like that, take pictures with them, where I was like, what? But
did you fuck a lot?
No, not in China.
Damn it.
Dude. Come on, dude. Right there.
I know we're on camera.
I never fuck when I travel.
We're the other countries are dangerous.
Sorry, Hodge.
I am always celibate when I travel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just for everyone, to let you know. Dude.
Me too.
And that's not a challenge to you ladies, okay?
I would never put my penis anywhere outside of America. Yes. That is true. Yes. That is true.
If there's a lot of athletes coming out of Ningbo, that's not my fault.
It could be in China. Were you just lying to us?
All of a sudden, Ningbo wins the 2028 Olympics. Has nothing to do with me.
There's one kid can jump. What happened here?
Oh my god. Holy fuck.
Has nothing to do with me, dude.
Dude, don't worry. Most Americans, when they see black Chinese babies, they all look the same. So, like, I don't think you're gonna have to worry. No one's gonna notice.
What website are you visiting?
I don't know if we're allowed to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't get them an item anymore.
Yeah. You know what's weird is when I
don't know. I'm not gonna say that on camera if that's true or not, but I heard that's not true.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's like ChatGPT and your memory's overloaded. Maybe you're like trying to download too much. You're like, hey, we're gonna cut you off.
I don't know how much I want to associate you with my fucking terrible behavior, but sometimes when I look up black Chinese porn, it just looks like your kids. And I don't know. And I was like,
little talented fuckers, aren't they?
Yeah, and then I started. I was like, okay, so Hodge is like 48. Yeah. So then his kids are like, okay, so they're like 19.
Well, don't do that and pinpoint everywhere I travel, because that's when it's going to get really awkward, right? You're like, more athletes coming out of Costa Rica.
We're going to start having a map, and it's going to look like
where's Carmen Hagiago or something like that? No, don't do that.
My God.
Don't do that.
Dude, earlier when we were talking about AI, and I was saying about this thing I read, but I wanted to say this on camera. When he fucked with AI. He said something, and they're like, "Oh, good joke, Mr. Man." And then they're like, and then ChatGPT just sends him the X and the Y coordinates, and just like
hilarious.
I see you.
That is hilarious. Yeah, that's probably when I would have shut my shit off. Dude. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so I don't know how to explain it, but so like somebody was fucking with ChatGPT. Yeah, somebody was fucking with ChatGPT, and it was like a dad joke on ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT goes, "That's so funny, Franklin." Blah blah blah.
And then is that your ChatGPT voice?
Yep.
Why does it sound like that old computer movie right there? Would you like to play chess?
Would you like to play chess?
I thought that's how all the I don't like you expect robots to sound different.
Listen, I think now they can sound like whatever they want. It's the scary part.
Dude. Yeah. Have you ever watched Her?
I think I heard about that.
You should definitely watch it.
Is that the robot thing? Is that the robot like he got it's a girl and she was protecting her kid or something like that? And she went crazy?
So I mean, yes, robot, but it's a chat assistant. It's an AI chat assistant, and what's his name from Joker? And no, the newer one.
Oh yeah, right.
But I mean, he's a very accomplished actor at this point.
I know.
He plays the main character, and he has this chat assistant, and then he falls in love with her, and then it's all about like this push pull with AI and what that means for how they know us.
Already happened.
And do you want me to give away the end or not?
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't.
So at the end, he finds out that she's dating like 500,000 men,
and they got them all locked in, huh?
Oh yeah. And he's what?
Player.
Yeah.
Well, copyrighted fucking software.
I saw this thing where they asked ChatGPT if its goal, not Chat AI. It asked AI if its goal was to take over humanity and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And its response was crazy. AI was like, I don't have to take over. You guys didn't discover me. I was already here. Right?
I've seen that one too.
Crazy. I'm just now part of your reality, and I don't have to take you over because pretty soon you're going to be so dependent on me. I'm going to be part of your lives, like your veins or your lungs or whatever, stuff like that. I'm going to know what you like, where you want to go, what your dreams and vacations are. Yeah. Pretty soon I'm going to be so integrated in your lifestyle, I wouldn't never have to take you over. And I was like, wow.
Even think about it, like if people didn't have their phones, it's just like what a loss of their daily fucking activity and entertainment and just like comfort, like doom scrolling, that dopamine rushes. They would lose that.
Just think about the phone in the last 20 years.
Like the safety of like being able to communicate, being able to use it.
Even your relationships. You know, I'm tracking you. Where are you at? How come you like this? Are you sad? Your heartbeat. I mean, now it can track. Now they said that the Ask AI, like the CIA, FBI, or whatever was like back. This like 15 years ago. How it would track to see who was in the house, and AI came with a solution like it would hit the whole house with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Tell you where you visit the most, at what time, and everything else, whatever. So now you're already an Android.
Yeah.
Like we're already, unless you're in a third world country where there's no Wi-Fi and everything else, you're a fucking Android right now.
How do you feel about How religious are you, or spiritual?
I'm faithful. I don't really believe in religion. Right there, religion's not one of those things that I've ever.
Do you find yourself you believe in God or you don't? Like I'm just. I say
I believe in the Most High. I think a lot of what we've been propaganda or indoctrination is man-made and been interpreted to manipulate us as much as possible. So I've read. There's 77, I think, other books outside the scriptures of the Bible. I've read 44 of them, and it's changed my perspective a lot.
Do you believe in a higher power?
Like I believe in a creator. I believe in the Most High. Yeah, I believe that we try to quantify it because we can't quantify it. Like we want to make it a gender or something like that, a he or a her or whatever. And then the other scriptures I've read have a lot of scriptures about women that participated in this stuff. And I've read Adam's diary and Eve's diary coming out of the thing in the cave of tears, like their first whole thing. And I'm like, so who are you to tell me that you can tell me what part of the scripture from the Most High that I should know about.
Wait, there is Adam's diary and Eve's diary?
Yes.
No way.
Yes, there's Adam's perspective, the whole thing. There's a whole thing where
and this is
Adam
like
this is kicked out of heaven.
This is like legit.
Legit. You can read it up. There's like 70 some other scriptures that like the council of
Nicaea, yeah.
Yeah, like decided that.
No, I knew all that. I just didn't know that there was an actual Adam. What?
I grew up in a hyper-religious community when he was like younger.
It's a whole other story. They picked which side of the story, like the side part of the story, but like Adam, from what I've read, okay, it was kicked out of heaven 3 times. He was pissed about the whole thing. He's like, dude, the devil, the Eve corrupted me. I'm your dude.
Yeah.
The Most High. I'm not. Blah blah blah. And the Most High. And here's what I think. And here's my belief is, when the Most High speaks about something, it has to happen. There's no going back. Like he or I'm going to gender it. The Most High can't take it back. If he says, hey, Josh is going to win the lottery, he's going to become a governor, and blah blah blah, and his kids for the next generation are going to be this, right? No matter what you do, that stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you fall out of the grace of the Most High, he's still going to keep what he said, but he's going to punish you too. So he's all the flip side of that is like, so Adam, he's like, Adam, I told you not to eat the apple. I don't care about what Satan said and how Eve corrupted you or whatever. Yeah, you got a good point, but I told you.
Yeah.
Right? Father. Right? Yeah. Right? Us as kids want to negotiate when some rules set. And I always believe that these are the first thing that's transpired forever. Right? These are the first thing to happen of our history that it still continues to happen. The Father said, hey, no, you'll be in by 10. Us, we want to come in at 10:20. Right? The Father's like, you're done. You're not going out and taking all your keys. You're restricted. I got your phone and everything else. We want to negotiate. What about this? I'm a victim and everything else. And the Father's like, I don't give a damn. I say it, right? So we squirm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we fuck around and find out, right? So he's like, the Most High comes in and goes, Adam, you're out. Eve, you're out. Satan, dude, you were my trusted guy. You were here. You were supposed to protect Eden and Adam and Eve, right? You got jealous of Adam because the Most High put Adam over all the angels.
Yeah.
Jealousy. First thing that ever happened was jealousy. Still happens to this day. Eve, I think is, and if you look at the scripture, Eve was the best thing that the Most High created, and everything fell in love with Eve. Angels, Adam, Satan, the Most High. Angels fell for women and everything else. Eve was walking around like Smurfette. La 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 la. They manipulated her innocence. Right? They manipulated her innocence. The first manipulation from to women still transpires to this day, or whatever. So all these things in Eden that happened, Most High came in and goes, "You're cursed for this amount of time."
Yeah.
Right? And Adam, they had to kick Adam out 3 times. He tried to get back in heaven 3 times. He tried to kill himself. The Most High brought him back alive.
Will you send me some links to some of this?
I'd love to send you links.
Because
I'd love to see something it's crazy.
Can I ask you too, speaking of the different perspectives on the Bible, because I really only read the first fucking 66 books, and then it was like I was 18 before I even understood that there was the Catholic one, the group. So it was like another 4. So this is the first time I'm even hearing about this.
Crazy.
But is there a book written by Lucifer or Satan that is...
Constantine wrote his own book counter to the Bible, the same person who made right. So he made a whole demonic book, but there are other scriptures of I don't know if you want to say
the way that I want to ask, or I'm kind of curious, is somebody brought this point up the other day. I forget. I was talking about religion somehow, but they're like, the only person that didn't get to tell their story was the devil. And so if you read the scripture, it's just like, there is an apple and there is perfection. And if you eat the apple, everything is fucked.
What does the apple metaphorically mean, though?
I have no idea.
It's knowledge, the apple of knowledge.
Oh, yeah. The tree of knowledge of good and evil.
So here's what the Most High, in my belief. Okay, so I mean, believe which one? This is basically what I believe so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Most High said, hey, I want you to remain innocent, like all the other animals I created, right?
Yeah.
All my other animals don't know evil. They know survival. Is
the apple like consciousness?
Well, when we talk, right? So let's say that you're a bear or a wolf or an eagle or a fish or a mosquito or whatever, stuff like that, right? I don't believe that these things know evil when they eat each other and behind each other, right? It's not an evil thing for them. It's not like I'm trying to get over on you. I'm trying to survive.
Yeah, it's
right.
Life.
But we're supposed to procreate, right? All species are supposed to be the best version of themselves to survive, right? And we have nature has these spin-offs or these movements, whatever you want to call them, whatever, that tests to see if we're stronger in this area or that area, whatever stuff. We're always tested, whatever, which the Most High says you're going to be tested at all times, right?
Yeah.
Right? So I believe that in the beginning, he was like, hey, I created this thing. It was beautiful. It was awesome. And I didn't want to corrupt it. So I told it not to eat this tree of knowledge because then it's going to know evil and greed and all these other things, right? And before Adam, all the animals, like Adam named all the animals and he was the master of the earth and everything else. He eats this apple and then evil and corruption and I can't wait to send you this thing. Adam talks about when he steps out of heaven that he has all these desires he never had in Eden. Sex, hunger, greed, coldness, all these things. And when he says that when he steps out of heaven, he became 2/3 less than when he was created.
That's so great. Dude, right? I have never heard this perspective at all. This is
I'm pretty nerd on this stuff right there. So
yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
I think it makes so much sense because because I don't know that I always believe the specifics of the Bible, but
why is that though? Do you feel like it's been corrupted or translated?
Oh, 100%.
Or out of Christianity, me and my daughter had this conversation, and she's a minister. She's got her degree now.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, the Bible, men are sinful right off the bat. We're born into sin. Right.
But what's your definition of sin?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. Here's what I think. It's so simple that we try to make it more. Pee. Go ahead, pee.
Oh,
I got another drink.
Okay. We should start right here.
Okay.
So I guess I got no more big rocks.
Oh, whatever. Get your rocks on.
What were we just talking about?
Well, we left, and I think
we're definition of original sin.
Yeah. Wow. See.
See, this is why I hired Jamie.
Yeah, for a smart guy, dude.
Yeah. Give it a good.
What else was I?
What were we talking about up there?
There was original sin, and then there was the last thing we were just talking about.
Well, we were just talking about sins. I don't know about original sin. I don't know. Original sin is.
You were talking about how when you're born, if everything was perfect before the metaphor and the reality of the apple.
Well,
that was.
Well, if you believe out Scripture, it comes out with the Ten Commandments, and literally says, dude, if you could only follow these 10 commandments, you got a free pass. You're in, right? You're in heaven, right? If you could only follow these 10 commandments. And when Moses came back down from that thing, we made 362 sub-laws to the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I was saying. I was like, okay, I would be pretty frustrated if I was like, no, dude, I gave these fools 10 things. And they screwed it up, right? I go, Moses wasn't even gone that long and they were already partying and worshiping calves before he even came back down from they can't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is after wandering in the desert for 40 years, right? You think after all the miracles that those guys would. Imagine if we got to witness the miracles they did in the Old Testament. You would be a big believer.
Oh, that'd be fucking nuts.
You'd be a big believer, huh?
Dude, when I was leaving
your situation,
my entire life,
I guess so. And so you left at 21.
When I was leaving, I kept begging God. I was like,
you're praying.
Show me.
Is this the truth?
And I had never been shown anything. And so the story of Doubting Thomas, where everybody else already got to see, but he didn't get to see. So he goes, "Get the fuck out of here." He didn't rise from the grave. No, you didn't.
Right.
And so then Jesus came to him. He's like, feel the holes in my hands, feel them in my feet.
Right.
So he showed him.
Right.
And so that story was how I felt about me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't get to be the other 11 disciples. I am Thomas.
Right.
Show me.
Right.
Because I haven't seen this.
I need this for my faith.
And I never heard back. Yeah. And so that is where my exodus.
You questioned these guys and they had no answer to it.
Yeah. And I questioned the guys and I questioned God. And I never heard that answer. That I was like, I need something so visceral.
Yeah.
And so that was my exodus of the church.
Yeah.
But then I also experienced God 10 years or 15 years later, and I was like, holy fuck.
What makes you think you weren't experiencing them anyway the whole time? Right? So
I don't really know, but like this was very direct. Like,
you say you were praying to him, and here's what I in our arrogance. This is what I believe in our arrogance. When I pray to the Most High, I expect him to answer me immediately in my own time frame.
Carry your fucking phone, God.
Yeah, hey, listen, dude, I've been texting you for a while and leaving voicemails and everything else, you know? Dude, where are you at, right? It's been like 3 days, right? So imagine if you were a parent and you have a daughter or son who continues to fuck up and they ask you for your help and you've helped them out a couple times, but they've gone right back to fucking up. And this time you don't, like, I'm not hearing it, dude. You need to suffer. You need to fucking go down and really suffer and realize that you really want my help? I'm going to give you my help. And you don't. And I tell everyone, when you pray to the Most High and you ask for your help, be careful. Because when help comes, it ain't what you're thinking.
Oh my God.
It ain't what you're thinking. And he's like, hey, I know you better than you know you. And I'm going to wreck you. And I'm going to rebuild you. And you're going to hurt. And you're going to suffer and cry. And you're going to ask me to stop. But when I'm done, you're going to be that higher. You're going to be a higher level. Most of us don't want to go through that. So we avoid it.
Yeah.
We try to mask it between whatever. I don't care if it's drugs or whatever our addictions are or our distractions are, right?
Yeah.
And the Most High is like, dude, you asked me. And now we're here. You're avoiding me. You don't really want to talk about it. You want to show up for therapy. You don't want to pray. You don't want to, you want to just go ahead and you want to do these demonic things to avoid having the conversation with me. It ain't happening. I'm the Most High. When I say it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? But we're like, no, right? We're like these rebellious kids, whatever. Who's wiser than the Most High? He's like Yoda. Oh, frustration leads into emotion. Emotion leads into confusion, right? I've done this 1,000 times, right? And like when someone says, I want to pray to speak tongues, I go, do you? Because if I see you in a bar later on, you're speaking tongues to me. Oh, Christ. Right? It's a blessing and a curse. If the Most High tells Josh he's speaking tongues tomorrow, and later on me and you run into Josh and he's like super calabala, whatever I read. Hey Josh, I don't know what you're doing, dude, but I like the hyper connection with God with most times. I've been to church before I do, and I honestly have not understood what was going on. Well, if you read Paul and everything else, everyone thought Paul was crazy when he spoke tongues, right?
So can I ask you, how where do you fall in Christianity, or we're talking about tongues?
I don't believe in religion though. Christianity,
but if you were just to put yourself in a genre,
okay,
because I grew up Baptist. There's Church of Christ. There's Pentecostal.
I got baptized
Methodist.
I got baptized Baptist. I got my grandmother, the Creole, was Catholic.
Okay.
I got baptized Catholic before and stuff like that. Well, this is when I was a kid, and I went to church, whatever. I mean, I remember one time hitchhiking to church, and this family pulled me over. They're like, "Where are you going?" I go, "I'm going to church." And they're like, and I was like 8 or 9.
No way.
In Alaska. They're like coming off the base. They're like,
"You're
going to church?" And I remember you're not afraid someone's going to kidnap you? And I was like, "I'm going to see God. I mean, why would you let somebody kidnap you?" And they just thought it was the greatest thing ever and stuff like that. But I don't know why I told that side story.
Dude, that's wild.
Well, but I've always felt that sense. Or whatever, stuff like that. Now, as far as the religions and the inconsistencies, like my grandmother, I would see her do stuff and then preach one thing to us, and then I would see her character do things that I thought were not in line with what she was saying. So that was started my first resentment of church and everything else. And then when I started reading scripture, Jesus wasn't in no church.
Yeah.
He was at the well with a whore.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the cross with a murderer. He was at the fishing port, which is the worst of the worst men you can imagine it. If I import, right? You're talking about fishermen and everything else and misogynistic, whatever.
Yeah.
He was in the worst spots ever, bringing the word to these people. He wasn't in a church where everyone like got together. So to me, church was always a construct to control.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how many things been done in the Catholic religion, and all Christianity spawned off Catholics.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So I mean, if you like the ministers and or not, what do you call them? The priests, is the priest? All over the world, the priests and the child stuff and all that
like
stuff.
The cardinals.
To me, that seems to be a very evil.
Yeah.
And then the Pope was covering it. And you see that stuff, you're like, that's because it was born by man and managed by man, right?
There was a time where like people areas and regions, they were defined by their religion.
Oh, for sure.
And so then religion became government.
Yeah.
And so then of course things became like divided, and it was not about the church. Because you're just get down to baseline, you're getting people together about service and like recognizing a higher good. I've always grown up like to the side of religion, but there are a lot of things to respect about it. So you're not I'm never gonna like not support like a bunch of people getting together to enjoy like a higher sense of self.
I don't want to begrudge. I don't want to begrudge people getting together.
But I do like understand the hypocrisy and like the politics of religion. And I think that most like good people and good Christians, that's not like if you lived your life on a regular basis, if all of us lived our life on a regular basis out of love, right, there would be no reason for a church that we would go to every Sunday, right? Right, we'd be like, hey, you know what, my neighbor, I saw the lady next door, she can't mow her lawn. I got off my ass and went over and mowed her lawn because that was like something I should do or whatever, so like that.
Yeah.
And all like this, we're like, hey, I wish this old bitch would shut up across the street. All right, I'm already presenting hate.
Yeah.
And love thy neighbor happens to be one of the things that are the commandments. Wow, what a shitty law is to love my neighbor. When's the last time someone brought you over, you moved in a neighborhood, they brought you a pie and introduced themselves?
Dude, some communities do it, but it's so rare.
They're religious. Right?
Yeah.
See them live together. LDS, dude. Come on, all the time.
Their community is fucking on point.
Well, you got to respect that part of it. I don't think everything's bad about religion. I don't want to say that. I want to say that there's good parts about religion where there's humanistic, love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
You know, I will not covet thy neighbor's wife. You know.
Also, like,
thou shalt not commit murder. These don't seem like bad. So imagine if you were the Most High and you're like, dude, these are very common things that we should live by.
How do you feel about this though? I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
But
I know that guy.
Because I like all the things that you are saying are the things that I love about church.
Yeah.
And then there's these things that I do despise about church. And then maybe it's more of like the pharisaical nature of Christians in general.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about this? So if you had 10 rules that you want to pass down to your kid, are you going to make 4 rules? Listen to daddy, I'm the best.
Not at all.
And that's how the 10 commandments go.
Wow.
So there's 4 of them that say, don't put anything in front of me, worship me above everything.
The Most High.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what are the 4? I just want to make sure we're the 4.
Okay, so
and these are the 4
it's either 3 or 4
that you're concerned about.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. I think if I
about
were
the Most High.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So if I were the Most High, I would only make 1 rule.
If you were.
Yes.
Oh, I love this conversation. This is a whole nother podcast.
Yes.
If you were the Most High. But I want to hear this. If you're the Most High, you would only make 1 rule.
I would make 1 of the 10 worship me more than everyone else.
Okay.
Like
I love it.
So the question I'm asking.
This is the rule that you think that should be instilled in the top 10 commandments.
No, what I'm asking is if you were setting up 10 rules for life, like the best things to have humans.
By my own personal experience?
No, or if you were the Most High.
That's the arrogance of saying that to me. Right there.
For sure.
Like, wow,
okay, so then maybe just let me ask you.
Okay, let me respond to part of your question right now.
Okay,
because it's a big question.
Yep.
Big question.
It is a big question.
Very big question. Okay. First of all, in order for me to perceive what I responded if I was the Most High, I would have to be in the Most High's situation, right? It's like when I travel to China or whatever stuff, I'm not in their situation. So when they tell me shit, I'm like, wow, I thought it was the Most High. I fucking not at all, right? So I have to look at it. So my arrogance to even perceive, and here's what another video I'm gonna send you guys. If you look at where we're at and you go 1,000 miles up, and then you go up to the atmosphere, and then you go to the moon, and then you go up to Jupiter, and you go out of space, and then you go all the way to like galaxies. And you say, hey, if I was the Most High, right? How fucking crazy is that? I have no idea. Yeah. I created one daughter. Okay.
That's one more than I did.
We don't have to go that far. I haven't even created an ecosystem, okay? He's created a whole planet with very complex life forms that perfectly the bird shits on the fucking the forest floor and the ants eat it and they digest it and become soil for the plant. I mean, it's so complex. Right? The other life forms over here about how they operate, ants and bees and all that stuff, whatever. That I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I don't have remotely the idea of what it would take to create anything that you've created Most High, right? Sure. I'm struggling with my life. I got this very, compared to what you've done, I can't even manage my life. I'm barely managing it to make me happy.
I haven't even picked my logo on my new fucking website.
I can't even do my laundry on time.
Right there. Like, matter of fact, Osai, I'm so happy that you've made 70% of my body functional subconscious. Because I probably wouldn't know when to shit or piss, right? Or breathe or sneeze or anything else. If you think about how complex your own body is and your brain is, it's like, how do you say, like, I'm the Most High, what are my 10 rules? Yeah. Like, what are your rules when you created millions and millions of things that I can only maybe understand a little bit because I only can perceive a little bit of information. I only can see 5% of the light. Yeah. I'm a blind motherfucker. I'm Ray Charles walking through a mall, and you're asking me, like, what do you think about the clothing line in Dillard's? What are you talking about? So when you say that, I can't. That's what I think the arrogance of us are. Yeah. We're trying to perceive, like he was. He made us an yes. Right? He's like, yeah. I sent the messenger to you guys to try to explain it, and you killed him.
I mean, that is true. Yeah, that does suck.
And he was only explaining to you about everlasting life and all these other things, and you killed him.
Okay, so I am not as so I want to explain where I'm coming from first.
Yeah. I think it's a great conversation.
I don't necessarily believe a lot of the Bible is true. I believe some of it is true, like as far as like factual.
So do you believe taint it, or do you just think certain stories are embellished, or?
Well, okay. To the prior conversation. Fuck, I'm drunk. I believe that there's 66 books that are written by different men, and it was collaborated at what's the Council of Nicaea. Yeah. So what you told me, I was like, oh, there's all these other books. So
just so you know, there's 100-some books.
Yeah.
They only chose
66.
And
books. So the way I see it, I was like, oh yeah, so there's definitely people that chose books that worked in the favor of what they're doing. That all to be said, I fucking have seen God, and I do believe in God.
I love it. I love
it. It's just different than how I grew up.
Right.
So I wanted to tell you where I was like coming from.
I love it. So
when we talked about
it was after you left the church that you perceived them in a different way. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Like it was like 10 years away or 15.
Remember our original conversation? You prayed to him before you left.
Yeah.
And 10 years later, you wanted it instantly. Right? He's like, dude, I can't give you all this knowledge at once.
Yeah.
We'll give you enough knowledge for you to have the strength to leave. Right? But over the next 10 years, we're going to have a conversation. And Phil.
And my perspective
and I'm assuming, I don't know the whole story. I'm just saying.
Sure.
Once I let go the definition of God and what I wanted him for me.
That arrogance. Arrogance.
Once I stopped, asking for it, you're going to show up for me this way, and that's going to be the proof.
I wouldn't
then be I saw him everywhere, or her, because I don't know if I think about gender,
for sure,
the movement of gender.
And the more you listen to him, the more you listen to him, the more conversation you have. Right there.
What's crazy is so I grew up really.
I didn't mean him. I hate to say the gender. Yeah, right. Most High. The more you listen to the Most High or his message, and he sends it to you a bunch of ways, right? And he tests you.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, you said you're never going to drink again? Oh, yeah. I'm going to send your old buddy by or whatever.
For sure.
Right there. So, yeah, I'm going to tempt you.
Dude, it was funny. So speaking of God in this conversation, so
definitely this conversation. I love it.
Yeah,
dude. No, me too. Yeah. Same. I didn't expect us to go here, but I love it. So the first time that I met God, or the way that I experienced it,
him or whatever.
I told my mom and my sister about this maybe like a little while later, but because I had told them all, I don't believe anything that I was taught. And I was like, I don't believe in God. And so I went the whole other way, like the rubber band. And I told everyone, I'm like, I'm sorry, I just reject everything.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking for me to tell them, and I knew it was heartbreaking for them.
Yeah.
And so the first time that I met God, I was just like, I think I want to tell my mom, even though it's different than what she taught me.
Yeah.
I wanted to at least clue her in and like
where I'm at.
Like I'm on this page still a little bit. I think your prayers might have worked, just maybe not in the way you wanted. But hell yeah.
Yeah. How customized would we ever? I want to say this the right way. Will we ever correct ourselves with our bad behavior if it wasn't someone coming to us and letting us know right in our face, like, hey, you know what, dude, I love you, and I'm gonna be here for you all the time.
That's
right. Yeah, but you're fucking off to the left. Right there. Yeah, I'm not supporting. Like, I have one of my best friends. He's my business partner now, dude. I remember I was like in a dark spot, and I was with him. I was like, I'm about to go do this, and this right now. I'm going to drop you off and pick you up. And he stopped me, and he's like, no, you're not. You're going to take me back to the fucking hotel. I want nothing to do with your saying. And he goes, and these assholes you're hanging around with, they don't give a shit about you. Nothing. Not about, and I was like, whatever, dude, you're tripping, blah, blah. Later on in life, still remember that conversation this day. He was exactly right. When I got in trouble and I went down and I was in my darkest spots, he was the one guy there every single time or whatever, stuff like that. The guys I thought were my homies and they were loyal and everything else, nothing. Right there. And I remember that to this day, whatever, where I was like, and people's like, what do you think about this guy? I go, so if he needed me, I would drop anything I was doing outside of maybe my daughter. I would be for that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was there. He proved himself.
Oh, your daughter to be like, let's go help him.
And I tell him, I was like, the Most High was speaking from you. He's like, hey, I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth, that's what everyone avoids, is the truth. That's when people squirm, right? Right. When you break your word. And I read a lot. So like the whole Game of Thrones, I read all the books way before the movie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I've always been like, I love that stuff. But they talk about biblical stuff. They talk about vows and oaths, right?
Yeah.
Right? And your word. People hate those conversations, whatever. It's like, and I tell people, like, hey, you know what? You want me to loan you some money? Do I have your word that I don't have to call you, talk to you, feel guilty about you paying me back? Right? And you'll see the people squirm.
It's when they can't.
Yeah, when they squirm, you should be out.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? I don't want to put our stuff with that. Why are you squirming? Right? Or, hey, I give you my word that I'm going to be here for you if you call me, right?
Did you say you were going to do it?
Yeah, and then right. And then they're like, well, what happened was, I don't know what happened was. I know that I asked you to do this.
If they say that, though, that's better than ghosts.
Oh, I don't think so. You end up at the same result. They weren't there. Both roads lead to Rome.
I understand for everybody. I expect people to fuck up sometimes. So if someone could come up to me and be like, hey, I don't have your shit because I fucked up, then I'm like, all day, I have forgiveness for that. How are we going to make it right? You know, that's
again, that's why I tell you in the beginning, I don't want to have that conversation with you.
Like, let me know how you're going to make it right. If I have to have that with the homies, then I've been given the grace of patience.
I'm pretty hardcore.
Okay. Do they make it right?
I'm going to say this. Next time I see you, let's say I love this scenario. Let's say that I'm just using money. I loan you money and I say, hey, I don't want to have a conversation with you about you paying me back. I don't care about what your excuses are. I'm doing this because I love you. I don't feel comfortable about loaning you money. So, right, but I'm going to loan it to you anyway. And you come back to me and say exactly what you're saying. I'm just like, well, so now your word's no good. I don't care about the excuses. don't ever ask me to loan money to you again. If you try to make me feel guilty about it, it's because you broke your oath or your vow or your word. So your word, back in like the old school Game of Thrones, if you broke what was the Lannisters thing? Lannisters always pay their debts.
Always.
Right? Then the father and the grandfather's like, if I hear one of my kids or grandkids or daughters don't pay their debts, I'm dealing with them and then I'm paying you. Because like our family's word.
Yeah. Someone lets me know they're short.
And I'm being extreme, but I'm just saying.
But on the due date, like even if this is a metaphor, if someone lets me know they're short or they can't make it ahead of like when I expected it, respect. And then if they let me know every leg of the way on how they're gonna make it right and how they're concerned about it, more respect. Once they get back to me, if they want to borrow less and their money's like better, like they're like they're worth the risk. I know empathy. They already came back at it that hard.
I love your empathy. I'm saying that I love your empathy, but that does not keep the person to their word.
Yeah.
Right? I love your empathy because you're like, you know what? I understand that like maybe something happened. Well,
she is the most.
Well, I love that about you.
Empathetic person I know.
Probably, listen, long term, I realize this is my view. If you break your word, you're going to do it again. I'm the sucker the second time. And if you come to me, I have a friend, I'm not going to say who his name was. We were traveling and a whole bunch of my friends were showing up and we rented a mansion. Everybody was chipping in a certain amount of money, right? And this guy all the way to the day of the mansion said he hadn't paid me. Everyone, and this is a year in advance, right? And so I'm like, hey, dude, I got other people who will rent your spot out. If you can't afford it, you can just get a hotel, but we're renting out the mansion at the spot. All the way to the day, and then doesn't call me for like 3 days, right? So everyone else had to split the money of the guy, right? Maybe 4 months goes by, he never says nothing about it and everything else. We're talking about paying for something like dinner, right? Oh yeah, I'll get you later. I was like, well, he's no good.
Yeah.
Right, right as a bat, right? Hey, this guy's no good. He'll burn you quick. Yeah. And he's like, oh, Hodge, that's not right or whatever.
Just call him out right away.
This is your action. I'm letting everyone know because I don't want to go through me when you didn't pay me. And he's like, well, I couldn't make. Oh, no, you avoided me for 3 days, right? And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to have a truth. We're going to have a truthful conversation. And I'm calling you on your shit. So you know from now on, Hodge is not somebody you want to like not break your word with, right? Why are you the victim and I'm the jerk for calling you for breaking your word?
You shouldn't have asked for a second favor.
Well, I was waiting. To his point, I was waiting for him to say that.
Not necessarily to you, but ever really. Until you take care of your other debts, don't ask for a fucking other.
Right. And it was right in front of like a couple of his relatives. He was all mad. Well, you didn't have to do that. I was like, I absolutely do. I want everyone to know that you broke your word.
Yeah, I don't want you to fuck over my friends.
Yeah, right there. And furthermore, you've been avoiding having this conversation with me. Yeah. Purposely.
I do think that
purposely you've been avoiding me having and I didn't want to call you out in front of everyone else, but purposely you've been.
That is the difference. Like between where I'm the.
But I think that most men, maybe it's females, but I do it more with my guy friends. I think that we respond better to getting called out or getting shit.
We're more ruthless with each other.
Yeah, but I
think girls
are
more mean to each other.
Yeah, but I wouldn't treat my girlfriends like if I wanted to show them how they were fucking up, I wouldn't call them out as aggressively as I would my guy friends. And I'm not sure if this is right.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying to me, when it's advantage for women, it's equal. I want to be treated equal.
Yeah.
My girlfriends, right? Like I have girlfriends or whatever, like I'll pay for everything, right? They won't say anything. I have guy friends, we'll pick up each other's
That's how we get equal to pay for dinners. Make the wage gap smaller and we'll go fucking done.
Yeah, well, and I have friends that are girls that like to try to say, hey, they tell me, hey, we're just friends. And I was like, yeah, we're just friends. So buy a round of drinks.
Yeah, take care of my
And then they're like, well... Yeah. Wait a minute, dude. And I'm like straightforward. I was like, I thought we were friends.
100%.
Why are we friends now? Right? I'm like, okay, I go, cool. Well, then, I'm just going to let you know. I'm going to pay for my drinks. You should pay for your drinks. I go, you want the advantage. And listen, my mom used to say the feminist movement was the worst thing that ever happened. She's like, I love men opening my door. I love men paying for my meals or whatever stuff. I love them treating me respect like a lady and everything else, whatever. I love that part. Right? I don't like them saying that I can't like I'm not smart as them are and everything else or whatever, stuff like that. But she goes, but women can create wars or create peace with
Did
2
she
or 3.
also love being, was a beta boss movement? I used to.
Oh, my mom was a boss.
I used to be hated being called a beta because I was like, fuck you, dude.
Oh,
so like, but beta boss is a different type of thing where you're just like.
Well, back then they called them matriarchs.
The fucking neck moves.
Matriarch.
Back then, my mom, they called them matriarchs. Like my grandmother was called Big Mama.
Yeah, that's like a lot of like.
Well, yeah, and back then, but here's the I don't know if this is misogynistic. I don't know if I'm using this word right compared to this situation, but back then the men did not mess with the women about certain situations, right?
Yeah.
They didn't mess with the women about anything with the house being raided.
Right. Yeah.
Right. The kids can come up to like, hey, mom said I had to do this. Well, I guess you're fucked.
Yeah.
You better get what mom said, right?
She's
you better get in
charge.
there quick because if she comes in here, my dad used to say this, and I probably shouldn't say this on TV. I should say this on TV.
All right, it's been a good podcast. Yeah, we're cutting it here.
I get 3 calls from my brother. But my dad used to say this because my mom was the matriarch. She ran the house, the rules. Like you had a menu on the refrigerator about what your chores were.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't have them done and your homework, by the time my mom and dad came home, they worked 2 or 3 jobs, like whatever. It was your ass. Like you're restricted and everything else. My mom's like, yeah, you're done, whatever, right? And of course we pushed it to the minute. And right, kids do whatever, stuff like that. And my dad was a laid back dude, worked 16, 17 hours a day, whatever stuff. But when my mom was pissed off and she would get so pissed off, she'd like leave the house and my dad would sit us down. She's like, hey, now you're fucking my shit up. Right? if she's upset and you
that's impressive.
I don't get any. Right? And I'm working 3 jobs.
He told you
all 4 boys, right?
That's like, impressive.
Dude, he's like, you're fine. He goes, and she restricts you so you have to stay in the house. So even when I come home, I have to see you little bastards mope around the house. He's like, get the hell out of here. He goes, your mom's home at this time. Make sure you're back. Right? And make sure this house is spotless. And my dad was he was military.
Yeah.
So, and my mom was spoiled. He cooked, he cleaned, he waxed her car. I mean, she was spoiled, right? He was just that dude.
He knew how to run a fucking unit.
Oh, dude. Well, my mom ran a unit, right? If she got so mad that she couldn't whip your ass or discipline you, that's when you got the ultimate ass whipping, where he'd be like, you know what? He was like, you're like putting me in this position.
And you're like, well, I guess you did this.
I begged you, dude. I don't want to like even when I beat your ass, I'm not getting any. Right, I'm going to bed. I'm not getting any. Right, she's pissed off, upset, whatever, stuff like that. He goes, and my dad's like, "You're killing me too," whatever. Of course, we had that conversation the most.
Yeah.
All 4 of my brothers are like, "Oh yeah," my dad's like, "Why? Are you serious, dude?" Yeah. He's like, "You," and he goes, "I don't know about you, but you piss her off more than anybody."
Yeah.
So like, okay, well, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, but he would have that conversation like, "Dude, I want peace in the house, and your mom, we all know exactly how to keep peace in the house, whatever, stuff like that." You're fucking up. Like you're not.
Dude, I think I got beat like one of the least of my of the siblings.
Totally opposite.
Lindsay got less because it's kind of goes down the ladder. Like,
right. How many brothers and sisters you got?
There's 5 of us. It's just like Amy, she's a girl, not as much. Justin got tons of bass whippings.
Yeah, right.
Tara, less and less. Yeah, I was allowed to date in high school. None of that.
You're the youngest.
Yeah, second youngest.
Okay, well that's.
But
my mom said the same thing. My little brother got away with everything.
I got it so light.
You know why?
But I still got my fucking ass beat so much.
Well,
and when I talked to Justin about it, he's like, "Dude, you had nothing compared to me." I was like, "No way."
Dude.
But so my dad wouldn't even. He probably only spanked me 10 to 20 times in my childhood. But he reserved 80% of it for my mom because he was just like, I don't want to do it out of anger. So this is the one props, or not the one, but they're like, we're going to wait.
Yeah.
He fucked up. Yeah. We're going to wait till at night. Then we go in and spank him, not out of anger. Yeah. And I always remember being like, why did God have to create sin? And I don't know how to choose the right thing. Wow. And they're like, bend over.
Wow. Okay, all right. You're shit. I'm a little more concerned about their.
It was bad.
I'm pretty sure my parents were all justified in every aspect. It was like, why are you making bombs in the basement?
Come get us.
What do you mean you tried to burn down the landlord's fucking storage house? Yeah, remember I was like, what do you mean you like took tractors and trailers and destroyed a whole construction site? So
dude, I stole like cookie dough.
Man, we were epic stuff, dude.
You did tell me the ones that your dad never like hit you while he was so angry. It'd be a little space.
Yeah, ever.
And that's
your grandfather or your dad?
No, my dad.
Oh, he just hit you out of randomly?
No, he wouldn't. He would always wait.
Oh, yeah.
Corporal punishment and abuse. So
yeah.
I reflect back. My mom, when she got so upset she was hysterical, was when my dad would step in and then whip my ass.
Yeah.
Like one time, I remember.
Like, I'll do it.
And I was a conniving, strategic kid, like way smart, very early.
Just why you're so successful now.
Well, look, full circle. Full circle. That's the most high right there. It's like, you know what? I'm going to try to apply this stuff to something.
Cheers, motherfucker.
Let's make this more functional.
Anything something happens to me that's like goes like the opposite of my way, I look like, you think you're funny? I see you testing me right now. Yeah. No, I remember one time my mom had she would have these parties where her friends would come over and my dad's friends would come over and they'd be partying out in the living room.
Yeah.
And we'd be in there. And I would have this Mission Impossible thing with me and my brothers where we would sneak into the room where everyone put their jackets and purses. And I would steal money out of the purses. And then we would back out and they would be partying, whatever. And so I would call my friends and go, there would be like this Kentucky Fried Chicken arcade by our house. So it's all these games. So let's go up there. I'm buying whatever, blah, blah. So 12 of my friends go up there. We play video games, eat ice cream and chicken, whatever. And I remember coming back to my house. And in our house, we had, when you walked in, we had these stairs that went up to our rooms. And then the living room, and right? And all the lights were out. We had like 3 dogs. We had one dog that would bark like a little poodle all the time. And I should have known some shit was up, right? So I'm calling myself being a ninja. I'm like, I'm going through the house, right? I know every stair that creaks, into my room. Like, the 5th. That's number 7. So here, right? Total Mission Impossible shit. I get to like the top stair. The bottom lights come on. My dad's holding the poodle's mouth right below, right? And I'm looking down. My brothers are there, and they should be in their room. And all of a sudden, this shadow comes over me, and I look up, and it's my mom. And my mom is from Compton. I don't know if I told you that, California. Okay, so
I've heard of the city.
Yeah. My mom graduated, and their mascot was the Tar Babies. So think about that for a minute as a Black person, that your mascot is called the Tar.
Who the fuck did that?
Literally, her mascot, they called them the Tar Babies. Okay.
Who did that?
So all of a sudden, I see the shadow come over me, and I turn around, and my mom looks like she just came from the pit of hell. Her eyes are just enraged. Wow. She goes, "You stole from me? You motherfucker!" God. We were poor, right? So I probably took like $100-something from her, all the purses, and I thought it was small. I think I'll take 5; they won't notice. I'll take 20. Oh, boom. You took 120. I had to pay them all back. Blah blah. And right. And I remember looking at my brothers, and they were like, "Fucked." Right. My mom at the top of the stairs dove to the top of the stairs, hit me with her hands around my neck. We went all the way down the stairs, and was like, "Fuck, kill you."
You're hitting him first,
right?
Bucket.
My dad. Okay, right. He's like, "Okay, you motherfucker, you took it so far." So he picks her up, and she's fucking swinging at me and everything else, right? And so he's like, "Wife, you're getting right, blah blah blah." And he says, "Mike, get in the room." As he's holding her, right? She's still swinging. Yeah. Well, I already know that means a second ass whipping, though, right? My dad's like, "You've taken it so far that by law, I have to step in and like say something."
Yeah.
Dude, he went in there, and me, okay, so when my dad was with my ass back in there, was with the belt. Like, we were like damn near butt naked, like, you right? I remember jumping around, and I used to try to avoid like I was some ninja. I'd hit my head on the fucking wall and everything else, right? So it whipped my ass, the whole thing. Next day, and this one, my real biological father and her like split up. I was on a first thing in the morning to a plane to Compton, stay with my great grandmother, right? Where she's like, "I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker, if you do one more thing."
Yeah.
Right there. So I had to spend a year there, and my real father, his name in Compton was Spooky. Okay. Like with all the gangs and stuff, his name was Spooky. Green eyes, total craze, anger. Like, I mean, like the whole neighborhood was nervous about him, whatever. I went down there after a year with him. I thought I had the best deal in fucking the world. Like when I moved back, I was washing dishes, their cars, doing laundry.
Correct.
Oh, correct, dude. I was like,
yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Even my stepdad was like, damn, what happened to you? Whatever. I was like, and it made me even love my mom even more because I realized how much nurture she was really giving me to my father at the time, whatever. Why she had moved all the way to Alaska to get away from him or whatever stuff. But I was like, after that, I was like,
fuck.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember I hated my father. Like in my teenage years, I was just like, fuck all this.
Rebel,
and I didn't even use that language, but I was like, fuck all this. So I was just like, I hate him. He has no love for us. Did
you see his relationship with your other older siblings that made you have some resentment, or was it just your relationship with him?
It was just mine.
Okay. I'm just curious.
As a human, I think I was just selfish and not saying he didn't fuck
or
up
independent,
either.
Right?
Yeah. But I realized it a little bit in high school when somebody was like, dude, Barbie's parents beat her. You have a good dad.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh. And then and Rob really clued me in. Our friend Rob, he's just
how many siblings do you have again?
5.
Okay, bye.
He's like, did your dad leave? No. Did he beat you? Like, I mean, we got spanked, but did he beat you?
Yeah, whatever,
No.
Yeah.
Did he rape you? No. Then you had a pretty good childhood, buddy.
I don't know.
So that was like,
I don't know if I would have counted down and said, well, I think the more important question to ask you is what was your resentment that he didn't do, not pinpointing my little check off list of what you're doing, because I used to have guardianship over kids, right? I'd check them out, right, and through the church, whatever, and I would have kids stay with me or whatever, and you would be amazed about no one asked them about what they really were upset about. Yeah. Right? Like we would go through all this minutia shit or whatever, but like I've had kids where I had a kid and he had 2 brothers and their dad got caught. He was a doctor and he was drugging women and having sexual like things with them, right? It's a big thing, went to prison, everything else, whatever. Mom went incredible. She went through all kind of shit, whatever, because she was in love with him and they had kids with him, but he was fucking weird and did all this weird shit. So she went through she was a wreck.
Sure.
And then the sons were resenting her because she was in a wreck. She hated him and she was presenting it to her sons. What a piece of shit he was for doing all this.
And they didn't know.
Well, no, they knew, but it wasn't something that they needed to hear from her. They still want to know their father. They still want to know their father regardless, right? Like, okay, you know what? I hear you, Mom. But of course she's upset, like, and rightly so.
But I still need dad.
I still need to know who my dad is. I don't want you to tell me. I want to have my own direct relationship. I don't want to hear you tell me about the trauma that you guys went through. I want to talk to my dad. And she refused it. And so after the oldest moved in with me and he told me, and she fought me tooth and nail. And I was like, hey, I'm only here to be like a guardian and tell you and advise you. You're the mom.
Sure.
If you decide to choose this path, I'm telling you, your son is actually telling you what he needs, just as much as a daughter might tell you what she needs. And I might not understand what she needs or whatever as a man, but I'm telling you as a right, he's saying that I don't want you to block me from communicating with my father.
Sure.
Because I'm going to still later on hold your resentment and still have the same communication with my father because I want to know. Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like on her side, I saw her side. I'm trying to protect you and I'm angry and hurt and upset or whatever, stuff like that. But you gotta also hear what the kid's saying to you, right? You gotta like be open, even though it fucking burns or whatever, you gotta be like, okay, I'm gonna let you talk to your father. I don't care if it's in prison or when he gets out or what you want or whatever stuff. And I want you to be able to come back to me and talk to me about it without me being individually emotionally invested in the whole situation, whatever. Like I gotta be a wisdom guidance person from you, or I got to remove myself and go, you know what? I can't talk to you about this because I'm just way too, I hate this motherfucker. All right. This motherfucker just killed me in the heart or whatever. I recognize that. So I got to remove myself from this situation and you can't talk to me about it. You guys have your relationship. I can't be here for you because I'm still Yeah. So it's one of those things where you got to almost like, it's hard too. You're like you motherfucking
dude. So it's crazy with my father. I fucking hated him.
Why? What did he? Okay, I don't mean to.
No. I've already talked about it before, but
was he just like
your question before?
Like mentally? Was it mentally?
It was.
Was it physically? Emotionally?
I think it was partially teenage drama, just like the rebellious nature of an independent.
Definitely spiritually though,
right? Yeah. And then he never came to my basketball games. He never came to my soccer games. He never came to the things that I cared about.
I resent my stepdad for the same reason. But he worked 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I would see all the white kids and their dads would be there and everything else, whatever, at the games. And there'd be like, you had those game dinners, you know, where your parents would come, whatever.
And my mom was there and dad wasn't.
So my dad was I loved who my stepdad was because I had to reflect later on to really like understand him. But he was a nom. He signed up both for the Navy and the Army. But he was a medic in nom.
Yeah.
Right. So he sewed people up. He'd wake up with Agent Orange and nightmares. Like he would, but he also would read. He got me into reading. Right. Wherever we moved, and we moved like 9 or 10 times through fucking probably 6th grade to 12th grade.
Sure.
But wherever he went, he would have a library of books he read. And you could open up the dictionary. And I have his original dictionary when I was a little kid. And you'd open up and you'd pick the longest word, right? And it'd be Latin or something like that. And you'd be like, hey, what does this mean, Dad? He would tell you the definition almost to the word and when you read it. I mean, like just leaf through it, right? When he died, we met his brothers and sisters. He had 9 of them from Alabama. They said he used to stutter when they grew up. And they teased him so bad that he read every word in the dictionary so he could say it clearly. We never knew he stuttered.
What?
None of us brothers ever seen him stuttered.
And then he was
ever.
like in that
right? So, and me and my dad, we had these things or whatever. And my dad was one of those guys, and I don't know if it was a nom thing or whatever, but he would go out in the yard and grab random bricks and rocks and everything else. And he would create his own place in every house we went to, where he would have like a barber's chair, a library behind him, a desk with like cinder blocks and shelves and like almost like like you would like there was like a bunker, like it was like a bunker, right?
Yeah,
it was like a bunker, right? And so, but everyone wanted to sit in his presence, and when he spoke, everyone got quiet. It was like knowledge coming out of him, whatever. Yeah, he read I dated a Mormon girl, and she came over and he had all these books, and she's like, "Why does he have anti-Mormon books?" And my dad heard her and came over and was like, "There's no anti-knowledge. There's just different perspectives, right?" So he's like, "So I've read, I don't want to judge you, but I've read through the Book of Mormon and all this stuff, whatever." And he's like, "And if you're a defender of God," this is what he would say, "then you should be able to defend against any knowledge," right? Right. So he would say, and he told me this, I'll never forget this. He said, and I was reading Malcolm X at the time in high school when I was dating her. And he's like, "Mike, there's no difference between the Nation of Islam and the Book of Mormon. They're both spin-offs of like the religions or whatever, stuff like that have kind of customs."
Interesting.
And I would believe, and I didn't even know, like it'd be like 6 years later where I'd be like, this motherfucker was like telling me, I'm only now to perceive what he was really trying to say, whatever. And of course, and the girl I was dating, her dad was a bishop.
Yeah.
Right. So she would go back and talk to bishop. And that's the first thing I thought when I really started challenging religion, is that her dad would like question me or whatever, stuff like that. And because I spoke to my dad or whatever, stuff like that. I was like, you know what? And the bishop's daughter was racist, and he was a bishop.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, I don't really think that races should mix." And I knew his history because I was his daughter. And I was like, "Well, that's funny because your daughter told me you were in love with an Indian girl." And he was like, got dead quiet. I was like, "So let's be honest. You don't think black and white people should mix?"
You're like,
but when it's convenient as a white man,
always,
you can mix with whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. And he was hot, dude. He was like, and I was like a senior, and he was hot. He's like, "I'm not going to argue with some dude about whatever." I go, "Of course you're not."
I love that.
Of course
dude,
I was already
so
as a senior. I was like, "Of course you're not."
Dude,
right. Because
so
I just hit you with the truth. And you squirm when the truth hits you, right? And I was like, I go, and not only that, you named one of your daughters after the Indian girl, right? And her name was like Renee or something, And so he was hot, dude. And he was like, whatever, I'm not gonna have this conversation with you.
Love that
and I was like, yeah, of course you're not. And I go, but I'm gonna respect you. And even as a kid, I was like, I'm gonna respect you. You're racist, so I won't come to your house anymore.
Yeah.
Right? I'll pick her up at the end of the driveway, and we're in Alaska, so you have to get property, right? Because I'm not coming. Well, I go, I want to respect your daughter, but I refuse to disrespect your beliefs.
Yeah.
I'm not coming onto your property.
Yeah.
I'll wait for her at the end of the house, right? And it's so funny. This is a girl, high school sweetheart. We had like dinner maybe 5 years ago. She happened to be in Boise, and she's like, my dad's.
Good.
It's right there. She's like,
you're like, I knew he was racist.
Well, she's like, we both knew, right? Because he would be all over her, and he'd be in her ear too.
Yeah,
right there.
Let me be the point of contention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was like, dude, you're talking about like 25 years ago, 30 years ago. He still hates me. I was like, so how far does racism go? Where he carried
systemic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's why I don't ever mind like if someone's in like the sticks and they say something ignorant. Then I'm like, dude, you don't know any better. But if you're
Rachel,
like, I'm from the SRB too. Come on.
I'm just messing with. I call Rachel Midville
but
because
if someone is just like fucking,
so
if they say something like I don't mind.
You better cut
but
that.
I did want to ask, how old were you when you said stepdad? And so, like, how old were you when you like thought like clearly he's a really like formative person in your life?
My stepdad?
Yeah. Where were you? Were you like?
Wow. You know what? I have to say that before I even got to that point, my stepdad treated my mom like a queen.
Good.
Like the way my mom, even after he passed away, never got married again. And said that, like, you know what? The standard is so high that I can't really like even talk to another man.
There's
it's like there's like your dad. This is what my mom would say, and they went through their shit, like some steep shit. But she's like, your dad, Jesus. She would say stuff like that, right? Where my dad, like, it was amazing. Like, and when we were around it, we didn't really. My mom and dad told each other they loved each other all the time. Yeah. My dad would write. I think my mom has like 6,000 poems. My dad would write her. And my dad was so crazy. God. He wrote in calligraphy. Yeah. He wrote in calligraphy, so his shit was in pure calligraphy.
That's
like immaculate, and he would write it on her mirror. He would write it in notes. He would leave it in her car. He would wax her car. She would say, "You know what? I need to get. We're in Alaska. I need to get some new boots or whatever, stuff like that." My dad would go get a fourth job, so he could get her the boots that she wanted. Like, he was like very romantic, intentional, loved, and they don't remember, they had their like little spots that he went through, whatever, stuff like that. Crazy. But at the end of it, when he passed, my mom was like, and even me, I was like, because of course my mom would like be all over me and my brothers, and I'd be like, for the love of God, I mean, is there anybody out there? And she's like, shut up, right? Your dad was amazing, like, right? And I was like, and so she would keep, she would break out her poems that he wrote her in calligraphy. So she would collect all that stuff, whatever. And I was like, like imagine a girl getting a note in calligrapy. She wouldn't even know what to say. She probably would like, can I get this translated? Nowadays,
I'm gonna take notes. I bet you get so fucking wet, dude. Holy shit!
Like calligraphy. They're not even be able to read it nowadays.
I'm about to blow some fucking Gen Z.
These liberals would not even be able to read it right now. They were like, dude, I know this means something. Would you
they're gonna start and they're gonna immediately start.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't even think liberals know what a fountain pen is.
Bro.
Literally intermediate fourth grade getting a fountain pen and learning fucking cursive.
Dude.
Like, that is, and also they know
to a guy who stuttered. Dude. Anyway, like, he was like not educated. Well, I won't say he was educated because he read so much.
They're gonna know what a fountain pen is.
Fucking educated.
He wasn't traditionally educated.
He knew. We would go to Salvation Army, and we hated for our dad to dress because he was from Alabama, and he would like. In Vietnam, so he would like sew weird ass shit together. Like, he would have a sleeveless shirt, so like sleeves to the shirt, like back before it was popular, right? And he would come to our he would come to our senior basketball games or our events like every once in a blue moon. He'd walk
where
in,
like in Alabama?
The Sons of Anarchy or some shit, right? Like, walk in, and you have to like take a roast your mom and everything else.
Yeah. Dude, I wish I could have met this person.
Oh, dude, my biggest regret is that we did not get to know each other when I became wiser. Like, I was a knothead, got in a lot of trouble. right? And he was like, and he would tell me, like, we would have these conversations, like, you think you got it all figured out? You're smarter than everybody else. He's like, when you go down, I'm not coming to see you. I'm not coming to visit you in prison. I'm not blah, blah, blah. He's like, and dead to his fucking word. Like, he's like, dude, he's like, I remember one time I was arguing with him with my mom, and I pulled off this caper in Alaska, right? And they like opened my closet, and I had like a whole bunch of stolen shit in it, like 100 VCRs and computers and
how old were you?
There. I think I was like a senior,
okay,
right? And it was all over the paper, right? Like, you know, Fred Meyer gets robbed. It was like all over the paper and everything. And it was one of those days where I opened the door, and I was this kid. I opened the door, and they'd both be sitting next to each other, and the couch was right where you open the door. And I knew I was in trouble right by their looks. I was doing so much shit that I was trying to figure out what they found. Like, I'm like checking off. And my mom's like, oh. And my mom never went in my room, right? I'm a senior. She's like, oh, I just thought I would like put some clothes. I was doing laundry, like putting some clothes up that, you know, blah, blah. Open your garage. Oh, yeah. And there was like 90 VCRs and 5 fucking color TVs and all the shit in the room.
Jesus.
And my dad was sat there the whole time, and my mom was a lecturer. Yeah. Like, you know, blah, 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 and everything else. And you're going to turn all this stuff back and blah, blah, you know, and you know, you turn yourself in and everything else, whatever. And so me, I was like, I'm not turning myself in. I'll take the punishment, the whipping, all that stuff. I go, but I've got 5 or 6 other people that are involved with this thing. I'm not, so I'll just take the beating. Yeah. Right. And so I was one of those kids, like, okay, what I got to do? Get naked? You're going to beat me or whatever? You know, change my name? I was a smart ass kid.
How many whoopings do we have to have?
But I'm not.
Let's just get this over with.
My brother just came to Boise State in a scholarship. So me and him, I already give him like 20 VCRs. He's going to sell them at Boise State, whatever, right? So my dad goes like this, Mike, I'm going to tell you something like this. No one likes a lawyer, right? And I smartly go, you know what, Dad? But everyone seems to hire one, right? Yeah. And so he looks at me and goes, I'm not gonna whip you. I'm not gonna argue. You're a senior now. You're getting to be 18. But I'm gonna tell you, the day you get in trouble, we're not bailing you out. We're not paying for your lawyer or anything else. You think you're smart, everyone? Then you should be able to ride or die, right? Mm-hmm. Right there. So I'm letting you know right now. It's like, I'm gonna take a VCR and a TV. I'm gonna put him around. And he looks at my mom. He goes, and we're not reporting our son. We're not doing that. Yeah, Mike's right. They're gonna come on. We're not bringing that kind of heat to him. Right. If they catch Mike.
Honestly, I'm gonna take 2 because I still need to. I need like $1,000. Right. And
my mom was like mad, right? But it was like my dad very really put his foot down. He's like, "We're not. You're upset. I understand that, but we're not doing this, right?" He's like, "Mike, but when you leave the house at 18, you're out. There's no coming back. There's no like working it out." You know, blah, blah, stuff like that. And I remember when I finally got in trouble, he was true to his word.
I would have been better.
My mom was emotional. She was like, I'll do what? Baby, you're my baby. My mom's like, no, he's not. Like,
dude, that's wild. I wanted to leave so bad from my house.
But you did.
And I did.
You did. That's the biggest step in the world.
And I think
like you were indoctrinated. Yeah, for you to like stand up with all your siblings and be like, I'm out.
He's the first one out.
Listen, I'm telling you, that's a fucking huge.
Well, dude, so the story I wanted to say, because I was telling my boss about this, is pretty funny. But Rudy's is kind of pretty right wing.
The guy who owns Rudy's.
No. What the bar in general is like a.
Oh, pretty, you mean the environment's like?
It's pretty right wing. It's pretty like
very right. Guys, all those guys out there. Yeah.
There's probably like 80% dudes.
All golfers.
Yeah. There's barely any females. It's a couple families. A little bit religious. It's a neighborhood bar. So there's a.
Remember I told you I almost bought that bar. I was going to move my bar there for that. Yeah.
So there's a little push pull, but mostly it's 80% right, like not even in like the middle.
Idaho, that's Idaho.
Right. Yeah.
Go out to Spurwing, it's like 90% right.
I was making jokes the other day about how I was like, we have way less gay guys than even black guys, and the one girl who's married to a black guy, she's just like, nah, you're not wrong. Just so extreme on the one way. So I was telling this story the other day of when.
See where you're going before I make a comment. But
yeah. Sorry, my head's all over the map.
No.
So I was.
Okay, but I've been at Rudy's. There's only one black guy, maybe 4 at any time.
Oh yeah, 4 is the most we ever have.
But I'm pretty sure there's more than 4 gay guys in there at any time.
Not flamboyantly.
Yeah, come on now. Okay.
DL.
Yeah. You're like, hey, you know what I mean?
That is true.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of like
any DL black guys.
I was thinking more of like the outwardly.
You don't have like some black guys that are white. They're
Wait, what's DL mean?
Down low.
I still don't know what that means.
You never heard that? Okay.
Down low.
Well, let me school you, dude. In Atlanta, they say the majority of the guys down there are in the down low, meaning like they like men. But they try to present like.
But they present like they don't.
They have a whole thing. Yeah, they try to keep it like they're on the DL.
They're gonna be the guys that are
keep it on the DL.
Keep it on the down low, right?
Super fucking,
Yeah, and you know what? I've never understood why be flamboyant about sex anyway, or like out in the open, right?
Yeah, oh, I'm always like that.
Yeah, you're like, I like donkeys. I mean, you ever hear everybody
say
this?
Yeah.
No, he's like, I like sluts.
No, but I am.
That's why I like. Well, but is there some mannerism? Is there a mannerism that comes with I like sluts? Is there a mannerism that comes with I like sluts? Like,
I see what you're saying, but. Yeah, I'm a person that is very flamboyant about sex, and I'm just like, I fuck here, I do this, I do this, and some people do hate it, and maybe I shouldn't always do it.
No, I like it.
You didn't even notice.
Or did I?
There's a different way.
Or did I, buddy?
There's a different way of being like, I can make out with whoever I want, and you should have a problem with it, and then I feel like, I'm like, nobody else is just going at it right now, and so it's not the fact that you're an LGBT member or that you're trans or anything. It's just that you're like doing it extra.
My point, because maybe I'm old school. I'm like
the same thing as like.
Well, I'm just saying, why am I even presenting what my sexual preference is out in public anyway? Unless I want some kind of.
I only do it because I want to have sex with a lot of women.
Yeah.
I also don't.
So I
got a way better plan.
Say it a lot. So then they know that I like to fuck.
Way better than what?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Tell me what this is.
What? Well, it's I'm trying to sell it right now. It's called the Mandingo Chronicles.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if but in Boise, really, you don't that way. You're a bartender. I can't imagine if I was a bartender. There's like so many women that like are up at the bar. Like,
I mean, maybe, but I'm pretty picky, so
that's a whole different thing. Though,
I do like to fuck.
Have you always been picky?
No, not when I was younger. No.
Why? Wait. I love this conversation. What's the difference when you're picky? I say the same thing, dude. I used to say I was Black Zorro back in the day. I would run over rooftops, dive in windows, whatever it took, dude. I was like, yeah, dude. I would like. Now I'm like, you know what? You're tripping. Right there. Good night. I'll walk you to the door or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going right there.
That's hot girl privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot girl. Yeah.
What? What did she say?
Hot girl privilege.
Hot girl privilege.
That's when that
doesn't even shock me right there. I don't.
Good worthy man.
That's a fucking. That's an illusion to me. Hot girl privilege.
It's silly, but that's like really like I feel like the idea of it because like you're like living a lack mindset and you're just like I'm gonna fuck whatever I want, or you're just like you have.
Are you talking about from a girl's perspective?
A boy's.
Okay, a boy's perspective to a hot girl.
Girls play defense. When you're like guys that just like equal opportunity lovers or just guys that just like get after it all the time. Then I'm like, oh, you're just thirsty and you're just like, oh, I want to have sex and I don't think I'm going to, so I'm gonna try to for it so hard. And then you have a little bit of discernment and you can have more patience.
Are you talking about guys or girls? I'm so confused. Okay.
So
this is your perspective. This is your perspective on guys as mindset.
Guys, yeah. That's
after girls. Okay, that's what I make sure.
That's
that's what I'm saying.
Like they're thirsty boys and they're guys. I'm just like, all right, so you're after it, but you're not thirsty. And I feel like maybe it, like
you know what
you're not like.
I think it depends on what mindset you're in, right there. I think women love confidence.
Yeah.
They love funny. Right.
Yeah.
And they love security. Right.
Kind of security.
So what is
you're gonna be nice to me or not serious?
Well, that's not what I mean by security.
Can I ask
that? I think what I mean by security is, let's say that hypothetically, me and you're at the bar, and you go to the bathroom, and you're walking back from the bathroom, and some guy's acting aggressive and disrespectful. That's not what I said. I said hypothetically that's you. Women like security to know that they're with a man, and will take care of the situation. Or if she wants to take it that far, it's like, dude, you're drunk. I'm with somebody, but I will call them over here. I don't want to do that, whatever. So most women, some women love the drama right off the bat, but I think women like security, knowing like, hey, if it goes bad or it gets wrong, there's somebody here who's going to make sure I'm all right. Right.
Yeah, like even in that 1% chance, this guy will take care of it. It doesn't have to be in a bar.
Even like it could be someone in a grocery store, or it could be like when you're home.
Sure.
Like knowing like some weirdos at the door, and you can say, "Hey, babe, there's some weird motherfucker at the door," and I don't to know that. So I'm saying security to me, and this is total hypothetical, how I feel, whatever. It's like women don't count security, but they do like that they know that there's some security there. I'm safe.
That's fair.
That's all I'm saying.
And they mostly can tell by your demeanor,
confidence.
your confidence, your like
all that right there.
I am a person that I will protect her, and she can feel that.
Security, she knows that,
and like she would be able to tell that given my demeanor.
And I've got a lot of friends that
he's always there and on it, and like having acknowledgement. I do like that, and also the fact that like someone that doesn't but can step in. I love that, but when I say kindness, or when I said that before, I do still mean safety. Where like someone's gonna be watching out for like my better self. And
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, so like they're gonna already know that someone hurt my feelings.
Okay, no difference than when women go out with a group of girls.
With that, they're gonna provide the safe space. So I do.
Well, even when you go out with a group of girls that are girlfriends, you feel more. You know, like if someone's before your girlfriends are gonna be like, "Hey, motherfucker," she said, "Move on, move the fuck." Yeah, I'm saying my daughter said something to me one time. She's like, she was out with her friend, and some guys were acting aggressive. And her friend she's with, she all danced with, so I just have to pick them up and drop them off and stuff. You know, the dad, you never want to be a dad dance. It's the worst position ever.
I don't want to be a dad at all.
Dude, there's like 20 dance moms that are already criticized you, and that just.
You're a dance dad?
I was a dance dad. Worst thing ever. My daughter was awesome though. She's like, "Dad, you could just pick me up in the truck and flash your lights," because I'd walk in and they wouldn't see me, and they would need some deep view conversation or whatever. Yeah. And I'd be like, "Okay."
Damn it.
Right, yeah. Her mom would be there, and I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here before I say anything."
All the other ones would probably eat you up on purpose.
Oh, listen, dance mom hit up on me, dude. I had dance mom slip me phone numbers or whatever and stuff, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not hitting on you at my daughter's dance." Yeah.
You're like, I need to keep something set.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, my daughter hated it, though. She hated that part, dude. She's like, I remember dropping off like a couple of her and her friends, and they'd be giggling in the back. It's like, tell them. I was like, hey, tell me what? So-and-so's mom was like, Lauren needs to talk. I was like, okay. Yeah. And my daughter's like, shut up.
She's like,
I hate it. Yeah.
I bet. Dude, like the song Stacy's Mom was literally the reverse, but
Hodge's mom.
Hodge.
You were horrible right there.
The first time I found out who my friend's mom was, and I was like, dude, I've tried to fuck his mom before.
What?
I was like, that's crazy.
What?
We're going to edit that out.
Do not edit that out.
Nothing gets edited.
Okay, yeah. No, listen, I've had like dance moms, and I've gone to my daughter's parent teacher conference, and she's been with her mom, so you go there and be supportive, and then she leaves with her mom, and I'll be walking in my car, and I've had like, hey, so I heard that you're the talk and whatever, like you're like single.
You're the talk.
Like I just got a divorce and blah blah. And one of the favorite things I like to say when people I want to date, and they let me know at the date. They're like, so I'm in a divorce. I go, so you're in therapy. Right? They blink their eyes. Well, yeah. I was like, so why am I here? If you're in therapy in the middle of a divorce, what am I?
Are you not down to give them some more therapy?
Dude, if I charge them, I'm like, right there. I'm like, You're like, all my wisdom, you want it for free. I'm just joking.
I was talking about the other therapy.
Well, I was like, no, hey, that's the men.
You might make your night, but they're probably
I'm making their night easily right there.
Yeah, come on, therapy.
Ever since the no Diddy thing, I'm like, no, don't do it.
I feel like that.
I call it therapy. I'm in court right there.
Dude, that.
And you're fluent too, so you don't want to be like, oh, so you're just gonna try to,
Well, first of all, if we're going on a date, I like to have lunch with anybody because it could be a great conversation regardless.
Is that your like first move?
What?
Lunch?
What?
Lunch as a first date? Because I normally lean into a drink, but
what do you mean my first move? Like when
like
I meet
as
somebody?
a date, like so, like if
one-on-one.
like the one-on-one. Because I have been leaning into like a happy hour drink, but lately I'm thinking like maybe just try coffee or lunch and see how they.
I'm so busy because I have a schedule, so I'm like, and usually I assume whoever I'm talking to has their own schedule, right? So. I'm more like, hey, so, let's get together, like, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what, dude, I'm working. I got let's say they have kids. Got to pick my kids, whatever. So like that. I go, cool. Let's just have a coffee. Or let's have like brunch is like a good thing.
Yeah.
Brunch in my opinion, gives the woman time to maneuver around because brunch kind of goes from like 10 to like 1 or whatever, so like that. And usually I'm like, hey, let's have some mimosas, have a drink or whatever, blah, blah. But I'm pretty picky now. Like the conversation has to be there for me to.
Well, that's why I was thinking about that because I was like,
because nowadays you don't have a one-on-one conversation, it's text messages and everything else. And I have girls like here's one of my golden rules. Hey, can I call you? Well, I just regular text. I'm out. Right? I was like, if I can't hear you laugh and I can't have a conversation and we can't interact and you right there. I had a conversation the other day for like 2 hours. And I was like, when's the last time I had a 2-hour conversation with guy or girl?
Yeah.
Right there, I'm like where we were so like intrigued with each other that I was like, wow, that was a good feeling. Like we had a good conversation. Even when 2 days later, she texted me and she's like, I have to say, I really enjoyed our conversation the other day. Like I was like, it's been a long time. And I was like, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Like since when has someone been able to hold my conversation for 2 hours where we interacted and I miss that part of courtship. Right? Yeah. Right now the texts and the voicemails and the Instagrams and the memes and all that shit, whatever. You don't really get to know the other person until it's too late.
It's good for touch base, and then you have to build on that afterwards.
Well,
it's like really, like you taught me a little bit about dating apps and kind of like what he does. I do quick drinks. And I always like want to do a meetup real quick because I'm not good through text message. I find phone calls a little intimidating unless I know people.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, let's just go for heat tacos or whatever. Then I don't feel obligated to stay or anything. You taught me that.
Well, that's the opposite of how I feel though, right there. But, I think when you first meet someone, all these rules and regulations that what you listed off of like 6 or 7. I don't really want to talk. But I was like, listen, I haven't got to know you and you've already told me about all the things you don't like to do.
Sure.
Right? Right? And you haven't even asked me about what I like to do or whatever stuff. I actually communicate better through a conversation, podcast, like phone conversation. I'm in business or whatever stuff. So I'd rather get to know you and facial expressions and all that stuff like that. When you have conversations or meet the greets, it really irons out if you're very interested in the other person.
Yeah.
Right now, you don't know. It's like 3 or 4 later, you've had all these conversations, and then later on, you're like, we're not compatible at all.
Yeah, I think that was what you were talking about, but I don't do well. I do well with texting people I already know. I can get a lot, like you already know me, so you can read my you're like my humor comes across way better. But when I text people I don't know, I struggle with that a little bit more. And so that's why I always...
Well, of course you do, because they don't hear your voice. They don't see your facial expressions.
Yeah,
they don't know. They might take you wrong. Yeah.
And so I want to see you in person.
And you're still a little performative, right?
Yeah.
Like through text message or whatever, you're still being like, oh, how is this person going to receive this? And then you get like one-on-ones.
Well, on a man's side, he wants to impress the woman.
Yes.
On a woman's side, she wants to be impressed by the man. If you take out the everything that impresses you about a man, his features, his conversation, his voice, his tone, everything else, he's already at a disadvantage. Like I see girls like,
that's why I
text
send
me something
dick pics.
that's interesting. Well, I don't even know anything about you.
My Tinder, like
I haven't even got to know you. I don't even know anything about you.
It, like the only thing I
see it all the time.
Like, please don't say hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Hello,
good morning. I see all that shit.
Yeah.
And on my end, I was like, damn, motherfucker, how do I get to even know you if I can't ask you basic questions? You're not
people. Well, and I'm like,
why I do not like the text message. If I had coffee or lunch, if I bought you breakfast, I would get through all that. And my next text message would be based on me getting to know you earlier, right?
I would.
Girls are good about this. A filter thing with girls. They're trying to filter through the whole process through the social media. Us, we're at a disadvantage because we're like,
but we
I
should
entertain you better than a voice text
but
message.
We should filter through them too. If you're trying to meet,
we don't have that. We're like, come on, dude.
Bullshit.
We're like, I haven't even got to know. I haven't got to even know if you have siblings, and you're telling me to send you a detailed text message that like entertains you, right? I'm being hypothetical. I made way more money than I did, and we had kids together, or let's say she had kids, and I could work from home or whatever stuff like that. And she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna make like a couple million, but I can't be home with the kids all the time." I was like, "I got you, babe." And she's like, "And we got to move to fucking Pennsylvania." I'm moving. I got the moving company. We're like this as partners.
My buddy
what's
Josh
the goal? Are the kids in scholarships?
There, he can hook you up.
Yeah. Remember the goal? Is the goal to make sure the kids have scholarships and second generation money? Right? I make the money, you make right there. And then when I come home, babe, you should be like this. Hey, Jonathan lost his first tooth.
I just can't see you as you're not gonna stay at home though. You're not that person.
Depends what's needed. I'm a provider. If you say, babe, we don't need you to work 70 hours a week no more. I've invested the money.
So is it like houses
right there? I'm like, cool. I'd rather be home with you guys. In my thing, I'd be like, if our goal is like our goal, right? I tell them, before we get married and have kids, babe, what's the goal?
Yeah.
I want to have 3 kids.
What are we trying to do?
I want to have 3 kids. I'd be like, 3, babe? I'd like to have 2 kids. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because I want to spend time with you later on in our life. Like, I know I'm going to sacrifice 18 years, 24 years.
So you already have this.
But later on, when we're 45, I want to know we're going to Greece and doing these things. Do you want that too, babe? Yes, I want to be.
So you have
it should be an open conversation before we get obligated.
Yeah, you have a vision of your future with a person.
What's the goal?
Yeah, and you're like this.
If I'm with a girl, I'm like, what's the goal?
Is it? And if I'm with.
Well, I'm saying if I'm in a relationship, and the only reason to get in a relationship is because you have some future together, right? Otherwise, you're lying to each other.
I don't really know what that means.
Okay, well, let's say I meet a girl. Let's say I meet a girl, and I was like, hey, I'd like to have 2 years of fun with you, traveling around the world, just getting crazy. Sure. But I don't want to get committed, and I don't want to have kids.
Sure.
Right? And at the end of the 2 years, I'm letting you know I'm moving on.
Sure.
Right? And she says, I'm cool. Let's do it. That sounds awesome. 2 years? No problem, right? Year into it, she's like, I'm developing some really serious feelings for you. And I don't really think I want this 2 years to end. I'm like, I see what you're saying because I'm feeling the same way, but I committed to this goal 2 years. And then she's in your ear for the last year. Right? And you're like, dude, I'm out in a year. That's what I committed to or whatever. You be hurt, but you can't be committed to it. Or maybe I'm saying like, you know what? I am feeling you. We're year one, then my 2-year goal is no longer valid.
Sure.
Because now I'm committed to being with you.
I just changed plans.
I changed plans. So what is our goal?
That's why
a lot of people are like I and me in any relationship I'm in now, and I've learned this from experience. When the other person's like, I want this, and me, I was like, well, you're already single. You're not talking double. We and us is double.
Yeah.
When you come to me and say we want this and I want us to do this, I'm in. But when you say I and me, I'm out. Finance I and me on your own. Right? Yeah. See how you feel about when you're just I and me, because I and me is a alone type conversation.
Yeah.
Right there. It's not we and us. Yeah. And most people don't have that conversation. And you can also hear it to them when they're arguing with you, like, I this. You're like, oh, well, you got to figure it out. You're single. What do you mean? Well, everything you just said to me was about you. You didn't even consider me in any of your conversations, so you've already moved on.
I think it should be I first when you're thinking about it. How am I going to be a good person, a kind person? How do I want to be? What is important to me? And then how am I going to be a we to my like partners and the
I think that's a development of you though.
And then and then we is a development of me. It is how I practice me.
Yeah. I think when we meet, that when we meet, we both have the same conversation you're having.
Like we is me in
once we meet, we're like, you know what? Where do we want to be in a year?
But I have
right? Do we want to own a house? Do we want to go to Greece? And then when we decide what we have as far as morals and values and everything else, then we got to talk about how do we get there. A lot of couples, they're like off to the whole other thing.
Dude, it's so interesting to watch with most of my friends, and then for example, me and Cinda. We've been together 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to watch how you can, I guess, like find aligned goals that you notice them right away if you like pay attention. So you're like,
you got to listen to what they're saying. Well, that's the whole thing about relationships. What are you saying to me right now?
Yeah.
And what am I hearing?
Yeah.
Right. If I tell you it's like, hey, babe, I love you, but all I heard was I and me. And I'm not sure how that like helps we or us. I'm not invested in just your individualism. I'm like, let's say you're like, I want to go back to school. And I was like, okay, well, that's not what our plan's been. I've been working bars and everything else to save up money for a house.
Sure.
Now you're telling me, and you've been working your ass off and we've been putting money to aside for the house. Out of nowhere, you come up and said, I want to go to school. So does that stop right there? Or you have some kind of side note where you're going to pay for school?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, no, but I want to use some of this money. No, that's not what and then, our plan was.
And then when did this conversation start?
Yeah. Like, and why am I the bad guy? Because I don't agree with you. I committed to the plan. And now you're coming out of nowhere. And I want to respect what you're saying, but I'm not committing. And why are you mad at me? I'm not down for you going to school.
If you had a different business plan, or if this person like had a new adventure, then it should be like a board meeting where it's just like, hey, we both decided on this thing.
And I should come to you and go, are you breaking your...
This is really what I want to do. This isn't
I love it. I love it. I love this conversation.
This is what I want to do.
And I should be able to come to you as like,
what money am I going to make and what am I going to do?
Are you breaking your oath?
After that?
Are you breaking your oath or your vow or your word to me because we committed to this plan?
Yep.
And now you're talking about I have decided I want to do something different and you're mad at me because I'm calling you on it, and now you're the victim and I'm the bad guy.
I don't like.
Why am I the bad guy? I'm sticking to the goal. That's part.
A
lot of conversation.
And ultimatums are not good. Just be like,
I love what you're saying. I tell everyone. I told one of our mutual friends that she gave me an ultimatum of like, I choose the worst part of the ultimatum every time, just to keep me real.
Because you make me boy.
And she got pissed. What? I go, just because you're giving me the ultimatum, I want to let you know all ultimatums, I'm choosing the worst part of the ultimatum, so I'm real all the time.
Hodge, you are the friend she needs.
I didn't say she.
Yeah,
I didn't say no. I'm not.
Dude, you're the friend she needs.
I know. You're like the fifth person to tell me that. I didn't listen.
Dude, you were awesome.
I've seen her at her. What's a new thing I like to say? I want to be my higher self. Right, I've seen Rachel at a higher self of her
for sure,
and
she's going through.
And I tell her, listen, and when it all goes back, you can call me anytime.
Yeah,
you guys know
how. I'll be there like instantly. I go, probably like 8 years now.
She's going through the ringer right now. It's all good.
And to her credit, she'll call me and tell me like this. She's like, I know.
Yeah. And you are the fucking that's what I mean. Like you are the friend that is there for her. I think that's
because I'm real with her, whatever. None of the glamorize and all the other. Dude. You should have heard the other day. She's like, whatever. I'm out of here. And I go, do you mind hitting the lock button on your way out? She did not like that part. She's like, no, I will not hit the lock button. I was like, dude, why are you mad at me? I just wanted to make sure my door's locked or whatever. She's like, you're so frustrating. I was like, okay, next morning, I get a text message. I love you. Right?
It would suck having a bunch of people like me trying to fuck you 24/7.
It's so.
That is probably annoying.
Dude, it's.
Why do you think you guys have any friends?
Who, me? That's a good comment. That was a good comment right there. Wow, I didn't know that was about me, huh? I gotta read. I gotta really like. See, that was one of those finger snaps right there. But doom.
Those little nuggets that just hit hard.
Like, dude, that was like, wow. I'm gonna drive home thinking about that. That's a good fucking point right there.
I was super thankful for the friends that know me best.
Dude,
and like a lot of times when I go out, they don't see me and how they we are.
I told Rachel, we had a conversation the other day, and it was getting a deep conversation. I was like, listen, I'm going to tell you something that's outside of you because I know you're going to get offended if I feel like I'm addressing you. I go, I had a friend who's still probably my best friend ever, like definitely my best friend ever, that I was in a dark spot and I was tell him all this stuff. He's like, I'm out. I'm not supporting you, and I'll be here for you every single day. That like while you go through it, after you go through, you're like the stuff you're doing is going to all end up bad. And all these fucking pieces of shit you're around that act like you're friends, they're not your friends. I go, and I'm gonna be here the whole time. Solid the whole fucking time. Every time I got in trouble, Solid guy bailed me out. My dad passed away. He was there. I mean, my mom passed away. There, whole fucking time. Same guys that all act like I was hanging out with. None of them were there. Whatever, stuff like that. And I told Rachel the same thing. I'm going to be that guy for you because I feel like this is that moment where I'm telling you, it's like, hey, whatever you're going through, I'm here for you. We can talk, whatever stuff. But when it goes bad, and it's going to go bad, then I'm going to be here for you. I'm not going to argue with you or debate for you or whatever stuff like that. But I'm not going to support. And what my boy, he's like, I'm not supporting you.
Yeah.
I'm not being around it. Like when you call me, I'm out. Blah blah. And that's kind of like, wait, you know what? And then all the guys you're talking about who are enamored with her or whatever. Oh my God, dude. They come up to me and blah, 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 blah. And I look at them like, and then Rachel comes over like, you don't like them or whatever, stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to be here longer than any of these guys.
You're like, I'm bored.
I'm bored. Like they're weak. Same thing. Yeah. They're like nervous. They like bow their heads when they're shaking my hands. It's fucking so weird, dude.
And they're
It's just so weird, dude. Yeah. I'm like this. Yeah. And then Rachel's like, oh, you don't like them? I'm like, listen, dude.
You're probably her landing.
I assessed these guys before they walked over and you were bringing, so, but.
You're probably,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I honestly feel like I'm a person that might be in the middle or maybe on one side, but like, yeah, I want to fuck Rachel. I want, like, she's hot as shit.
Hot. Stupid fucking turbo hot.
Oh my God. Dude,
but she already knows that. And
okay,
so I put it out there.
I want to know her better.
I think I might be a little more saturated, you guys, because I'm in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm 25 years in the fitness industry, so I've seen a lot of hot, insecure women that like have daddy. Okay, I'm saying
daddy issues.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, right. So I see right there. Yeah, no, that's when I first met the person we're talking about, she was just getting her master's.
Sorry, Rachel.
Yeah, I know. Right there. When I first met her, she was getting her master's.
We can
cover whatever, and she was like super energetic and impressive. She was working on her pilot's license and everything else. So I meet a lot of beautiful women who are really dumb. Not attracted to those guys at all.
Yeah.
They can be mega hot, right? Women who are super hot, and Rachel has a great personality, but also who are intelligent that I can hold a conversation with for 2 hours. Dude, right? It's even more impressive to me. The hot girl thing, where I see all these guys like, oh, and Rachel plays it perfectly. She's an orchestra, whatever like that. And I'm like, okay, and then what? I mean, what?
Like that's entertainment. That's not who like there's
well, and here's what I love about Rachel. When we go out, Rachel spends more time asking me every person I meet that's a girl. Do you know her? How do you guys know each other? I was like, dude.
Yeah, because you're Hodge.
I laughed my ass off. And then I'm like, I go, hey, listen, dude, would you quit asking people that when we're out and stuff or whatever? So I was like, I go, you're hot. You got all these guys. Will you go talk to those guys? I'm trying to have a conversation over here. Yeah. Right? So I love that part of her too, whatever, because she has that
I love Tubali.
That insecurity, jealous thing.
Yeah.
When she's that hot, which is, I think it's common.
It's wild as fuck to me. Okay, so fine. Rachel, you're on the next podcast, or
I don't know.
She is coming.
Rachel, they've ad-libbed everything I've said tonight.
Everything is super empowering.
Right there, because she wanted to be here bad, remember?
I
know. Oh, dude, she was all over about it.
Honest and complimentary and empowering. Everything that's been done. It's all right. Like, at least I feel like that, because, like, she's super hot.
And
fun.
I just not. I look at Rachel more as I just spin around super hot, and that's not my.
Sometimes when you lean into it, and you catch an extra judgment, but ultimately, people are multifaceted. If she kept you as a friend, it's 8 years. She knows good people and how
kept me, huh?
Relationship.
I think
she's been friends with Annalise for a long time. She's
has she been friends with Annalise for a long time?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
From what I can tell, yeah.
That's not what I heard, but I don't know. So you guys know
maybe better friends. Some recently.
Annalise, the black dude, right?
No, Annalise.
Annalise. Okay, yeah, she's come over my house. Yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I love about Rachel though? She makes a lot of women feel very good and powerful. Like, we went out and she had like women dance on the dance floor. Yeah, but like there's that part of her that I absolutely love. Well, and we talked about this, and I tell her, I was like, I could never travel with you because I could never not worry about you. Like, you're so free, right? I might look over and you're like, you might have did something that you shouldn't have, and you're like convulsing or whatever, or you're like free with everybody else's stuff. But I love that part about you. But when you go to different spots like LA and New York and Miami, you got to watch what you do. And
if you are listening to this, Rachel, I don't want to be a woman that you empower or a guy that you entertain as fucking. I just want to be the homie. And I feel like that's where the respect and the conversations that I have.
Yeah.
I'm just I don't need I love the care and I love the lift up, and fuck yeah, I gas up my friends all day and but I the value of the conversation.
Oh, and listen, so, I'm not. I haven't said anything that I don't know.
And so it just I love the gas up, and all day girls hate on each other forever. And I also
that's what I told her. It's a curse.
Like a dumb bitch.
Well, I told Rachel it's a curse and a blessing to be very attractive too, right? Dude. Because you're attractive, and you have to ask yourself, why are these women hating me?
Yeah.
Right? I told her that's a curse of it. And she really spends a lot of time to make other women feel comfortable around her, which I respect, which I think is, I respect her, but I'd be like, fuck these insecure fuckers. Part of me is like that part.
Well, they're throwing shade.
Yeah, but she's also like, otherwise they're fucking pitting against me, and they're like, hate me, or I can't, they think I'm trying to hit on their man or whatever. So I see her other side of that.
She also wants to just make sure that everything's comfortable, because she is hotter, cooler, and smarter than a lot of people in the room. And you know what? When your dude recognizes that in another woman, that is scary.
For both sides.
Also, when a guy's just oh, you're more physically fit, you're funnier, you're gonna provide this need.
Listen, I don't I see that side. I've been with her where I see her put a lot of effort to make sure other women feel.
Exactly.
And I told her, I was what I hate about women, I don't hate about it. Women criticize women way worse than men.
No, you can hate that about women. You don't have to hate women. That's
I don't hate. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm saying.
That is not
women criticize. I've been with women. I've literally been on a date with them and watch them criticize other women as they're walking across the room. Look, they're from their shoes to their nails and everything else. And I'm like,
gas them out.
Me and my friends are ruthless, but it's not mean. We're really. Yeah. Well, it's mean, but it's not I hate you and I want to break you down. Yeah. It's hey, dude, you got a fucking booger in your nose, you sick fuck, right? Yeah. So we're we're on each other. Well, guys are our skins are a lot thicker. Women take shit really
men's competition is over. How big is my penis? How far can I spit?
True. As a black man, I might agree with this part of that too. Where I'm hey, what the fuck are we talking about?
Women's game is psychological.
No.
It's we're oh, what? How am I going to make you feel inferior? how am I gonna throw shade on you? And like,
I tell everyone that one of my prayers every day is that thank you Most High for making me a man.
And it's good for her to recognize
that. I pray it's like thank you for making me a man, because a woman has to spend like pedicures, manicures, eyeshadow, base, tans, fucking lip. I mean, they spend so much time.
That for other women.
And then, you're agreed. And it's like other women are like, and men are very simple. It's like, dude, you don't even need all that. We would bang you all day with all that stuff.
Dude, I fucking hit the lottery. I'm a man. I'm white.
I
don't know about that. We might argue about the lottery.
Dude,
if you woke up in the morning with a black dick,
in America, holy shit! Like I literally got in the top 0.1% of luck that just.
See,
I don't know how I did it.
I start off my list way different. I'm black. I don't crack.
Unless you smoke it, but Asian never
right there. Right there.
Yeah, dude, she looks like she's 22.
Dude, I had a conversation with my friend. He's from London, and he's like, and he's a big soccer fan, Manchester United guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what all my English friends say all the time, my Irish friends? I go, what? He goes, thank God they don't have soccer fields in the ghetto in America. Like, you fuckers would be taken over.
Oh,
he's like, dude, every time you guys get involved with shit, we're like, fuck, man. I was laughing, he had me rolling. I was like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, come on, dude. I was like, Pele is still one of the best soccer players ever. He's like, oh, that's what I'm talking about, you dick. Yeah.
I was assuming that he thought that when America plays soccer, we just drop bombs. We're like, like, fuck that goal. Dude. We just sent a fucking big ass bomb. Hell yeah, motherfucker!
I told one of my best friends. He's a soccer guy, almost went pro, and he's my business partner at the time. And I was like, hey, listen, let's go to the World Cup in Brazil. I'll pay for everything. I'll pay for everything, right? And I was like. And this is like 4 years right after the World Cup, 4 years before, right? And this is before he got married or anything, right? So I already planned it, all right? So he winds up meeting a girl and getting married. But he tells her, I'm letting you know, I'm going to fucking the World Cup. So if you got a problem with that, I'm not, right? And he's like, right. And that's why it's like, whatever, you had a plan, blah, blah, blah. So I give him my credit card, go book the trip. He books a trip. We're going to the World Cup. In Brazil, we get to Miami. We're out with a bunch of my customers in Miami, and we're traveling the next day to the World Cup. And my friend's half black, half Hispanic. And so one of my customers goes, so you guys got your visas? They just changed it where you have to have a visa to get into Brazil. And I look over my friend, and he looks completely Caucasian to me when I look at him, because his whole fucking face, like I watch his face. Literally, literally, his whole face goes it goes fucking pale, dude. And of course, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my God.
4 years, and I gave you my credit card. If you post this, he's gonna be bad. 4 years, I gave you my credit card, said I would pay for the World Cup because you're the fucking soccer player. I don't even fucking play soccer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, dude, let's do it. Right? We go to the consulate the next day, immigration, right? Boom, we can't get in. And he's like, and right, and I'm so mad, but I can't say anything because he's throwing up, that he's that upset, right? So I can't even get mad at him because he's that upset. And he comes to me, and this is my business partner, and every time we travel to a third country, he'd be like, Hodge, I don't want to get kidnapped, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, would you stop fucking saying that? They're not kidnapping, motherfucker. And I was like, I'm not going to Boise, Idaho after a 4-year planned trip.
Yeah.
He's like, where do you want to go? And I was like, I'm looking through my phone. I go, we're going to Costa Rica. And he's like, dude, I heard they're like kidnapping people in Costa Rica. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was like, dude, Costa Rica is the most designated vacation spot in the world. Like the top 3. Okay, they're not kidnapping black people in Costa Rica because we look a lot like the locals.
They're not going to kidnap any American. They're going to kill their fucking industry.
We go to Costa Rica, and he calls his wife. It's like, Hodge said, we're going to Costa Rica. So, right. We go to Costa Rica, and at this point, I have a girlfriend over the last 7 months that I just start seeing. Yeah. And so she tells his fiance, how the fuck did they manage to get away with a Costa Rica trip or whatever? Yeah. So we're in Costa Rica. Costa Rica wins 2 games in the World Cup. The whole fucking state goes nuts, dude. They run out of restaurants and soccer and Nike. I mean, no one's in the street. They're kicking soccer balls. We're getting fucking loaded. Dude, we're like, they're, and I look like Bigfoot walking through because I'm taller than every Costa Rican alive, right? And they're like, what Americans? Have a fucking blast, dude. Like where you got to see a country's patriotism and like pride in their country, and you're part of it. Like you're not even right. It was amazing. This setup, it's just like amazing. And then I told him, I was like, listen, a bunch of people I met last night said they're going to Jaco, which is like an hour and a half trip out of where we're at, San Paulo. And I was like, and I go, and there's an alligator pit the whole way over. So he's like, fuck it. So we rent a car. We go to this alligator pit where we're scared of the motherfucker because we've seen the biggest fucking out. They look like dinosaurs. And you're on this bridge and they're racing by.
No way.
Yeah. So we get to Jaco. We're in Jaco. We get there probably like 3 or 4 o'clock. Check into like we got a really nice little fucking suite. The beach is right there. We go out on the beach and you can walk out in the water maybe 500 yards out in the ocean. And people are out there like partying, having a drink and stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, and we meet a guy, he goes, I used to have a painting company in Brooklyn. I came down here and never went back.
Oh my God.
He shows me like his 2 kids with a Costa Rican. They're out in the ocean. I don't realize the tide hasn't come in because we're so far out there. And I'm like, it starts getting dark. I was like, dude, this might be the one. So we go to a restaurant. It's $11 for one of the best meals I've ever had, like a whole buffet of like chicken, fish, and lobster, and rice, and beans, and everything else. We leave there the whole fucking time, and it's like 11 to 1 on the dollar. So you're like, your $1 is $11.
You're like, this is 10 cents.
Oh my God. And you're there, and you're like, and me and Brown, we've been like Maui and a couple spots like that. We're like, what are we doing? What's life about? Like, dude, is it like enjoying the moment?
One of the things
like am I working so hard where my dollars 4, 5, 6, 7 times worth in a different country where I could like work 3 months, live like a king for 9 months?
That's what you're saying.
So one of the things.
Where is the goal, right?
Yeah, what is the goal?
What is the goal? So I've been trying to remind myself of the 3 questions that I had heard that old people get asked. Or the 3 important things that they say.
What would you do different?
And it's like, okay, look back on your life.
Yeah.
What would you do different?
Yeah.
And the 3 things that has come up that I can tell is I wish I worked less. So that sticks with me because I'm a workaholic. So I'm just like.
But you don't have any kids.
No.
So when you get older, who did I just talk to? One of my buddies I told you my buddy from LA who's like, we go at it.
Yeah.
Right. He's got 2 kids and they've lived the fucking life. Like his one son's like a Monster Energy drink, travels around, motorcycles, skateboards, or whatever, stuff like that. His daughter's like has clothing lines in LA and everything else, whatever. Well, he pays for all of it. And so it's a joke between me and him. He's like, these fuckers are living my life, fucker. And I'm paying for it. He's talking about his kids, right? I was like, so what would you do different? He's like, where am I taking all this money I made? Right. I want my grandkids. He's like, my grandkids are my second chance. Right. Right. Yeah. And I was like, wow. Like this is like conversation. We're sitting on his yacht in Marina Del Rey. He's like, my grandkids are my second chance.
Yeah.
Right. My 2 kids, I spoiled them. And this guy, he's probably worth like $60 million.
And
he has a small house in West Covina. And he has 67 properties. And he has like little properties he built so he can party at. He has his yacht or whatever. And I was like, dude, why don't you get a bigger house? He's like, guess what I loved, Hodge? I can reflect back. My kids couldn't sneak by me. Their rooms were right across the hallway from me. They had to bump into me in the hallway. When they came in or left, where you been? Where you been at? Whatever. He's like, me and my wife's like, we could get a house with wings and fucking separate sections. But we knew our kids, and he works for very wealthy people. And their kids are all fucked up.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys he works for owned the Godfather Mansion. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so we used to party at Post Malone, Rock's Grammy Nation parties. I'd be there at the mansion. He'd be security running the whole thing. But all the kids were like, all these rich people were like fucked up. One committed suicide. The other was a drug addict. And they were millionaires and billionaires and stuff.
Sure.
And he's like, he watched all that. He's like, fuck that. I want my kid to bump into me when he's drunk coming down the hallway. Or he tried to sneak a girl in.
Yeah.
Right. I want him to have fear that there's no fucking way you're getting away. You're like, no fucking way. Your mom might let you get away with that shit, but that's your ass. And he would cuss out his friends, his girlfriends, everything. He's like,
that's funny.
Right? And I was like, in West Covina, a beautiful house, little pool in the back and everything else. But I was like, dude, you could have way bigger. I've seen other houses you built.
Sure.
Right? I've seen your party houses. Like, you'd had a party house.
Yeah.
Right? I used to stay at his party house. Like, dude, why don't you move your family?
Smart.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that. He's like, yeah, I can't watch these little fuckers, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so one of the funniest things we say is his oldest son talks him into buying shit. Yeah, we should buy a yacht. He's like, why do I need a yacht? Dude, we could rent it out and blah, blah, blah. We can make money. All of a sudden, he buys a yacht. They don't rent it out. Right? His son's doing like fucking TikTok commercial, whatever, right? He's like, Dad, we should buy an RV, like a $400,000 RV. We could go to Coachella. We could shoot all stuff. His dad's like, buys a fucking RV. And I was like, I go, dude, what are you doing? He goes, this little fucker's living my life. I wanted to live when I was younger.
And he's like, yes.
Dude. I laughed my ass off.
Give it to him.
His kids bought him a Porsche one time for his birthday. And we're on his yacht with all his friends. And he was mad, right? I was like, dude, what are you mad about? He's like, I have enough toys, fucker. I don't even know where to put the fucking Porsche.
He says,
I got fucking storage units and this little fucker, he kisses me every time. He tells me, we should do this, we should do that. I was like, and finally now he's like this. I can't take it with me, Hodge. Right? He's like, He's like, He's like, now they have grandkids. Yeah, now they're having grandkids. At least I can like plan for the next guys. Or I laugh my ass off every time.
I had a friend who had it in the state of Santa Cruz, and she was just like, I bought this so then everybody would visit me.
Yeah.
If I was going to stay in Stockton, California, fuck no, I'm going to get like one like Christmas and every other you know, until they put her out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go where everybody has space, and she created a great space for all of her family, like grandkids. Like,
I'm the favorite uncle amongst all my 4 brothers. I go visit all of my nephews and nieces and their kids. Like, I randomly show up.
Do you have?
I have 9 nieces and 4 nephews.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and my daughter. So I got my.
Yeah, that's about as many as I have.
So I tell them, I was like, listen, you know, Uncle Mike's retirement plan is to come visit you for a month and a half every year. And they're like, well, there's too many of us for a whole year. I'm like, well, I guess you know your fucking position. I'm like, the off year, I visited you and then I'm good. I go, but that, I would think that would be the best retirement plan ever.
Yeah.
Is to go visit all my nieces and nephews and their kids and stay for 3 weeks and move on or whatever. So like down the road, I was like, and
give
then
them a time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
that's a great.
Yeah. I told my daughter, I was like, she's like, what's your retirement plan? I go, well, I hope they find me in Egypt shooting dice.
Dude, so I don't think that I can spend the physical time to visit my nieces and nephews.
Why?
Every single year.
Why?
Well, because
how many nieces? Oh, because you have
I have 13.
Yeah, 13. Well, so okay. Well, make it a 2 year. Why is it a year plan?
It's not really, but I'm trying to explain the difference. I think.
Where are they all located? Are they in state?
So I have some in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I think they're all in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I have 13 in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But no, never mind. Some of them moved to North Carolina.
You're in the area.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half flight right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
how old are you again, Josh?
39.
Oh, you're come on. Perfect time to be uncle. Right there.
I'm just leaning into those uncle ears.
Listen. I'm saying your nieces and nephews are anywhere from like what, 10 to 20?
Yeah, I would say like 7 to 20. Yeah.
7 to 20, right?
Yeah.
So the 7-year-olds, you're not going to go visit those guys. You're just visiting your brothers and sisters at that point, right? Right. But when they get older and they move out and you go visit them, I have a niece. I just talked to my sister-in-law, talking to her, and they have 2 sons and a daughter. I'm really tight with the 2 sons. I'm tight with the daughter, but her husband's in the military, so they were in Japan and everywhere else and stuff like that. But we always keep in contact or whatever, stuff like that. And I'm telling her, she's like, Uncle Mike, anytime you're here, I'd love to have you, right? And her mom's like, Uncle Mike's coming to town or whatever, stuff like that. And I usually don't tell them. I just show up in their town, right? And I was like, hey, I'm right down the street from your house, and they're like, shut up. Right? Like, yeah, and we're having dinner tomorrow. I'm just checking my hotel, and they'll come in, we will have the best times, and I will spoil the kids. Like I love kids.
Yeah,
so I'll spoil the kids. So I'll spoil the kids and everything else, and then I'll leave. And for the next 2 months, we're like, okay, the kids are still talking about when Uncle Mike's coming to town.
Yeah,
like that's my job.
Show up.
Come up, leave my presents, make sure I'm known or whatever, stuff like that. And so I love it, dude. And then my older brother, and I'm also the uncle that if your kids are getting in trouble, I'm the threat.
Sure.
You want to go live with Uncle Mike?
Yeah.
He does not fuck with. Oh, dude, I shit you not, dude.
Like,
I shit you not, dude. I've had 7 of my nieces and nephews have to stay with me, and they know that it's the punishment. They come in there. You haven't been to my house, have you, John? Oh, you guys gotta come over. It's a half an acre.
We've been meaning to.
You guys are welcome. You guys are welcome. I can't believe that, dude.
Right?
All right, so we're gonna send Rachel a message like, "Are you serious? You have not even invited these guys to my house?" So when you come to my house, I have a half an acre, a pool, inside trampoline, a 2-story playhouse with a zip line that goes to the back. Right? So imagine when I first got it, my nieces and nephews were all growing up.
Yeah.
They all would stay the night at my house all the time. And before they stayed the night, my daughter would come to me. My daughter and my brother younger would say, "Hey, he has my niece is probably the best negotiator. She's so cute that you can't refuse whatever she's like." So the rest of the kids, I would hear them, and they were like, "Okay, Amaris, you got to go ask Uncle Mike this. And Lauren, you got to do this, whatever." They would have their whole thing, and I would act like I wasn't there. I was watching TV, whatever. Oh my God. This is how good Amaris was. She would run up and jump in my lap, and I'd be watching TV. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she would like pat my face slowly. "You know what, Uncle Mike?" How are you going to resist it, right? Butter. I'm a poker player. I'm like this. "You know what, Uncle Mike? You know," I was like, "What's up, Amaris?" I was thinking, Uncle Mike. I was thinking, Mike, you know what we should order? Is we really like some pizza. And I go, "Pizza, huh?" Right. You already are. I'm already sold right there. I'm like, yeah. I like, dude, how many pizzas are you thinking? I don't know, like 4 Uncle Mike with pepperoni and 1, right? Like the whole fucking thing, dude. And my daughter right there, and total. And it was it was even worse. Like, you know how your friends let all the kids stay the night? And all of a sudden someone has, okay, maybe not.
I don't really have friends that have kids.
Okay.
My friends have babies.
So, okay, well, when my daughter was growing up, we had Jeremy DeLuca, a bunch of us had kids, and they would stay the night, blah, 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 right? And then we would have one person have a barbecue where we'd all be there.
Okay.
And I'd be there, and some of the wives like, "Oh, dude, Amaris," right? Talk about my niece. "Have you ran into Amaris?" I go, "You too?" Right? Like, yeah. I go, and you could hear him manipulating you, right? Like, "Send Amaris." Right, send Amaris, right? Send Amaris. I go, so I'm not the only punk in the group right there. Like, yeah, and then you realize the kids have been watching you the whole time, noticing your weaknesses, who to send and negotiate and everything else. And you got to appreciate it. You're like, okay, right there. Hilarious.
Kids are like, the stupid, they're dumb.
My brothers get mad because, yeah. Well, I walk into my brother's barbecue, and all the parents are there, and all the kids are there at his big barbecue, right? And I walk in because I'm the only single person out of all my brothers and most of my friends, where the wives like me, but don't really like me because when their husbands get into arguments, guess whose house they come over to? Right? So I'm right, right? And they know it's neutral ground. They know I'm not saying nothing. They can't like get around it, right? And they try to like randomly see me like, "Oh, I saw my husband went over your house." I really don't remember, right? So I'm a dick the whole time.
Support because I know that like in their ear,
the flip side,
you need to come correct your lady.
The flip side is all the kids love me.
I get hit like that.
Yeah, but also Hodge is the one that all the wives want to fuck.
No, I don't want to say that. I don't want to make sure that. Maybe the camera's on. I don't want to fuck any of my friends' wives. Not because they don't look extremely beautiful.
You can be happy for what your guys are.
Because that's extremely beautiful.
Nobody wants to fuck Hodge. No. He doesn't want to fuck anybody.
Oh, no.
No, respect.
Not in my brother's wives at all right there. As a single guy. Well, the worst part is that I hear the venting. I hear the venting of all those guys. So I definitely don't want to fuck their wives. I'm privy to too much information for it to be a sexual thing.
Dude, I'm totally just kidding.
I'm just fucking with you. But what they really hate, so this is one of my friends is like, he's like, I watched you walk in the party, and it was like, hey, Hodge. And like, you give a shake to all the guys. You see the women like, hey, Hodge, whatever. And then all of a sudden, two of my friends' daughters come up and go, hey, everybody, Uncle Mike's here. And you see 20 kids go fucking nuts, whatever. Like, so I'll be downstairs playing with the kids, whatever. And you see like my brother, and he's like, hey, you guys knock it off. You guys calm down.
You're like, I just arrived.
Dude, yeah, dude.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see the wives like this. They want to hate me. We're like, you're a nice fucker. Right? I want to hate that fucker, but
bro, I just arrived.
I just opened the door, dude. Yeah, dude, that shit was funny. Uncle Mike's here. And you see all the wives like, I'm excited.
See, this is what I love about you.
Oh yeah, you love stuff about me, okay?
Yeah,
I like it,
dude. If I walk into a room and you light up the room, I'm like, who the motherfucker?
You're gonna see my haters and my congratulators for sure. Yeah.
But this is why I get drawn to people like you.
Yeah,
I'm like, you light up a room.
I love it.
You girls love power. That is like
right there.
Like whatever.
I think it's confidence. I don't know if it's power anymore. Well, power's part of it.
Confidence, like power is the overall fucking description. Whether you can like read a room, be emotionally a fucking safe place, whether you can win a game, whether you can make everybody laugh. Girls like power. That's like you want to you want to feel safe. You want to feel like they're the funniest. You want to be like they're
Well, and I think girls like to know that they can be them without you being insecure about
girls
it too, right?
Girls want to be like a baseline. I hate gender roles, but girls want to be desired guys. Like girls like guys with power, and this is like like a factual difference for their personal life. And then it got like girls like to be desired.
Oh, well, that's totally true. Yeah,
listen.
Every morning I wake up, thank God I'm a man, because I think girls are like very complex.
I'm like, I don't want any guy to like me if they don't respect me. But I still want to be desired because they're like, oh my God, I like you. You're so cool.
Yeah, I gotta say,
funny. I was like, it's still a desirable characteristic.
Yeah. I think if you're walking into figuring out a girl, you should be very careful about Well, I think you watch all people are by their actions. Right there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of situations where girls or guys or whatever stuff, they act very weird if they feel insecure or unsafe or like nervous or like people are talking about them or whatever. Like, guys are very resilient. I'm very resilient. They're like, hey,
you gotta be.
Hodge, you know what I heard about you? And I was like, I don't even give a fuck. But I mean, if you want to share with the group, I don't,
As a guy, I think that in this conversation, guys have to be more resilient because if you're not gonna win. You're gonna be a bitch. So then you're gonna lose.
In my opinion, anybody, girls or guys, that you've got to listen to what they're saying or what they really mean behind their saying, right? Like right when you're hearing somebody's like, hey, you know what, blah blah, this happened to me, you're like, what are you really saying behind what you're saying or whatever? Yeah. Otherwise, you can respond differently, and it's like, especially with girls,
communication in general is the most important thing.
Let me talk about one of my favorite girls, Brittany. I told her that I came over to your house and everything else. We were laughing the other day. 75 and Hodge.
Yeah.
Yes, I love Brittany, dude.
Yeah, dude, she's the best.
Inspiration. Listen, dude. Whenever we travel, we hit each other up, and she's like doing yoga, and I was like, guess what I'm not doing in Dubai? Yoga. It's really like, you're so fucking.
Oh, 100%.
Dude, so inspirational. Like, and so her composure.
Yeah,
right there. Yeah, and dude, one time I was fucking with her. We're at the bar, and I was like, "Hey, dude, how many times I got to order a drink?" She turned around and I saw the anger in her eyes. She flashed. I was like, "Hey, big guy, you okay?" And she started laughing. She's like, "You motherfucker!" Like you almost like, I knew there was a dark side of you. The whole social media stuff. I saw the spiders and the witches.
Dude.
Dark side, but she's like, I will handle it.
Dude, it's even crazy to see because not only is she so impressive in social media.
Oh yeah,
she keeps it impressive every Thursday, Friday. And
that she still does it Thursday, Friday, and doesn't drink, or anything. Well, that's when I cracked. When I cracked her, I saw her anger flash. I was like, oh. hey, I saw that. So she laughed. She's like, okay, you motherfucker.
That's what I like.
Yeah, very impressive person, inspirational person right there. Yeah, I've had coffee with her, and she's like, and whenever I see her, she has something positive to say all the time.
Oh my God. Dude.
The fact that everybody has the same takeaway is a big personal problem.
That is a big person. I like that.
I don't know her that well. Not really at all. I've only seen her say hi to her. I know that you know my people. I've seen her. I'm just like, hey, dude, everybody, 2 claps. 2 claps. What you're doing?
Well, I know her. The Arrow. I've known Arrow for a long time, or something like that. And here's so classic real estate industry. I was up at Arrow's house when she was up in the hills, and it's like a Saturday at like 2:00, and we're all drinking and stuff. And so I hit Brittany up. I was like, dude, is this what your life would be like if you were the boss? So I hit the Arrow. So Brittany class was like, so I'm not your agent if you're selling? I was like, that's best answer ever. I go, you're about your shit. I like it, or whatever. I was like, listen, I let you know I only go to the top. So, I mean, you might be out. So they started seriously like, dude, that's hilarious. Yeah, she's hilarious.
Dude, one thing I like about her more than even most of the people that I admire that are like success driven is because I know a lot of people that are success driven. No, not even that.
Yeah.
Most people that are success driven, they're like, we have a goal, we have to get this. It's like the next level. I'm trying to grab this. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But she's just like, I really do like to work. Like you can just she loves
and maybe it. This is an aspect of our career because I travel a lot, right? She has goals. Yeah. Like she's like, I'm working Thursday and Fridays and doing real estate, and I'm in Thailand or I'm in Italy, right? Because those are expensive trips. Those are $4,000 or $5,000.
Maybe that's it. But dude, when I see her, she's so happy grinding.
And she's happy not drinking, smoking, or doing drugs. 100%. So you have to. There's part of you got to be like this. You motherfucker, why are you so happy?
She's highly exposed to easier, quicker, like toxic good times. Like every day. Like,
she's in it.
Even in the fitness like realm, like you could do creatine and like gains and stuff. You could do like working at like 3 a.m. at the club. You could do that.
Her measure of herself is very even.
Yeah.
Yep. Right? That's what I'm saying when I talk about measure. Her measure, she's not like what fulfills her, what she's very, like we're at the bar stuff, and I was like, you know what? I might have a crush on you outside of the spiders and the whole witch stuff I saw you with. And she's like, I haven't done the witch stuff forever. It's like, and I love my spiders. Like, oh, hey, I'm just saying, as a black man, a woman with a lot of spiders. With a lot of, and she laughs her ass off. She's like, I'm just saying, as a black man, you're not attracting black people with spiders in your house. Tarantulas and stuff like that.
Not at all.
I was like, I want to get a spider. And he's like,
dude, go outside. Get all the spiders you want outside.
But with, dude, me too.
She's impressive.
And very impressive as a woman all around. One of the most impressive females I've met.
And positive.
Even individuals.
Well, just even the positive.
Like it is.
Even the positivity that comes out of her when I'm having a conversation.
She resonates like
she's
positivity.
Content. She's content.
She's doing what
her
she
serenity.
wants.
She's very familiar with her serenity.
Yeah. God, I hope she listens to this.
I'm glad that you guys do a shout out and then add her to like on the
I hope you know,
I love you, Brad.
I find her consistent, persistence, integrity, impressive. I love the personal, everything across the board. I don't know her on a personal level, but I know who she is. But also, I like the last little ending part because it wasn't just about the grind. She's personally just
her interpersonal. Well, when I met you guys, and you guys said you were 75 and hard.
And hopefully everyone be like, oh no, you're not at the gym at 6 a.m. Fuck off.
She was the one who made me do that.
No, I'm saying randomly when you know some, you don't know if you know some mutual people and they bring their names up, and the people who's talking about them say that this person inspired me. to do something, I told her, I was like, it's already a big recognition.
Yeah, if someone says something bad,
like you said something, or you were doing something that inspired someone else.
You went 3 levels in my
That's
brain.
my point.
If somebody
my
said,
point. Like, and you work at a
person.
You work at a bar. I'm not gonna say where she works. You work at a bar, and you decided not to drink anymore, and you stayed with it, and you're in a gym at 5 a.m. Well, she was laughing at me. She's like, I was like, you drive a motorcycle? She's like, are you serious? You haven't recognized her motorcycle? I go, I was just looking at the gym. Like when you pulled up, I was like, this. Yeah. Like I'm at 5:30 in the morning. I was like, dude, you're on it. Like your grind or your goal list, you're on at 5 a.m, right? Like you're saying, I want to be here. You're at 5 a.m, making sure you check off the things that make you get here. And so when I see her in yoga in Thailand or Italy or something like that, I'm like, dude, I love it, dude. I love it. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I think that's what makes her happy.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was in Dubai. She hit me up and she's like, what do you think about Dubai? I was like, fucking love it. Love it. Good. I was like, I told her, I was like, we should start a trip where you like you organize it and a bunch of people take the trip or whatever. Yeah. She's like, that is a great idea, Hodge. I was like, dude, so many people would go. Like, yeah. I go, I'm not doing yoga shit. I'll catch you up later. But later on, I was like, I'll do the second part of it. Yeah, I'm not.
She literally do a master class on being like, okay, so how do you balance
content?
life?
Yeah.
Just like, cause,
well, it's how
she's into a little too far, and everybody that like is going to teach them.
You know what? I see her social media, and it's not about her. It's about like, I love my dogs. Mm-hmm. I love my serenity. I love my my company. I love selling stuff and whatever. Sure. Like, it's not like now when I look at a lot of people's social media, if you have 95 self-portraits of yourself, I'm already like, because maybe I'm in the fitness industry and I'm like, okay, I'm around males, Michael Hearn, right? Yeah. Like they're like damn it. Yeah, they're like posting. But I also respect them. Chris Gethens, whatever. I'm with Chris Gethens last week or whatever. Oh, Rachel met Chris Gethens, and
I don't think I know that name.
Chris Gethens used to be the owner of. He's unmatched right now, and it was I can't remember it.
Do you know?
But he used to work for Bodybuilding.com. He was one of the original.
He is a fighter.
No, Chris Gethens is one of the gurus in the industry as far as like fitness stuff, and he used to work. It's fucking up my mind, but he's an unmatched now. But he travels the world. He has Chris Gethens gyms all throughout India and Pakistan and everything else. He lives here in Boise. He worked for Bodybuilding.com, and then he lost his visa, so he had to go to UK for a while and come back. But I mean, a guru in the industry. Like if you bring his name at a trade show of the Olympic or Arnold or whatever, you know who Michael Hearn is.
No.
Okay, Michael Hearn is probably the biggest anomaly of fitness, where everyone is competed, and Michael Hearn is my age, if not older, and looks better than people who are like 20 or 30. So he's been on like 700 romance novels as like the guy. You ever see the romance novels?
Bobby with the one.
Bobby, right. So I've hired him as a
Asian
dude. When I bring him up, you're probably gonna know who he is.
I love it.
Do you know Alex Ramosi?
I don't know if I know Alex Ramosi.
He is Jesus.
I just love it. Yeah, when you Messiah.
He is a Messiah.
When there's like a 7-year-old woman doing pistol squats and yoga is fuck. Just casually in the same class that I'm taking.
This is Michael.
That is a fucking cool.
I think I have seen him.
Yeah.
My mom thought she was 30. And she aged like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen him.
Oh, this guy's a freak of nature.
And he's like, so he's doing some martial arts too.
No, he's already like he's got his degree in martial arts, all kind of stuff. He used to be on Gladiators. Remember the original Gladiators?
Like the one with
where they're running through the whole competition? Yeah. So he used to be on original Gladiators and stuff. Oh, dude, listen, dude.
Oh shit.
Oh, fucking guy's funny. I had hired him to sponsor some of my products before. Fucking awesome, whatever. But like, as far as the fitness industry, I've been around some of the biggest egomaniacs and fitness guys. Yeah. Like from
wouldn't they?
Dude, I had to shoulder block the owner of GNC's. Damn. So you see what he hit? I had Michael Hearn and Josh hit that right there. That's fucking funny.
Send me some pics.
Like we're like every once in a while like watch too many like hot girls at this game.
Dude, I had
like this is my algorithm for the next 3 weeks. Stop watching the end of the video.
Oh, I can't even do it. Like I've been around. I had this hot girl and she was super hot. Puerto Rican fitness model, won the Arnold and the Olympia, smoking. So she breaks up with her boyfriend. We're talking. Blah, blah. She comes up to visit me. And I fuck up my own deal sometimes. I want to let you know because I'm too honest. And so we're talking. And she's hot. Like, just like right off the bat, my phone is being text messages from other guys or whatever. Like, are you serious? Blah, blah, blah. Jeremy from bodybuilding.com. She's a sponsored athlete, right? Blah, blah. So I'm out with her and we're talking and she's feeling me. And I'm like, okay, so what's the plan after the fitness industry? And she was, at the time, she was like 38. And she's like, and she looks at me, it's like, what do you mean? I was like, I mean, like after you're 45 or 50, I mean, what? And she's like, well, what do you think I should do? I go, I think you should be like doing the news or like a newscaster or Diane Sawyer. I mean, you should be like planning for what the next level is, or you should be planning for a family. I mean, what is it right there? And she looked at me and like, this is what I'm going to do like when I'm 50. And so me, I've been in the fitness industry for a long time. I was like, you know how many hot 20-year-olds and 22-year-olds are coming in the industry that are way more riskier than you, blah, blah. And so one of my best friends that I was in his wedding is married one of the hottest fitness models out of Florida. And I call him, dude, I don't think I can do it. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I mean, I've been with you and like, your girl walks in the room, you got to grab your camera, you got to do all the shit. You're right.
Yeah.
You're doing, and when I did it, I'm with the owner, Ryan DeLuca, right? And me and both of him were looking at each other like, hell no. I don't think I can be your, well, he told me, he's like, do you know what she bought me for my birthday? And I go, no, what did she buy you? It was worth $15,000. She bought me a gift. Fish. Right? She's making like $800,000 a year. And I was like, okay, now that makes sense to me. I got the camera out if you're making $800,000 a year. Okay? But if you're just some hot girl and you're not all over your shit and that's not your business. And when I say business, are you generating income?
Yeah.
Towards our relationship to help us meet the goal, right? I was like, I don't think I could do it. Like, I don't think like my job, maybe because I run businesses and everything else, is to be your camera guy and everything else. Maybe I want that, but I don't want that, right? Yeah, so it's one of those things right there. Respect, well, I mean, it's like as a man, like, I mean, it's one thing to be confident and your woman's very attractive and guys are going to hit on her all the time and go with that stuff. I'm not worried about that shit, whatever. It's another thing that if it's my job to make sure you're hot all the time, and I got to stop what I'm doing whenever I'm trying to have leisure time to make sure, one, you feel secure about what I'm doing, and two, that that's it's like, it's a lot. And I was like, and what's our goal? And that's what I asked the hot girl, whatever. I was like, I go, so you're 50, like we're both 50, and you're like, still think you're
solid fucking niche.
Father time is the greatest fucking enemy ever. At 50, I don't really want my girl, my wife, like twerking. Right. We got kids. I'm like, at one point, I'm like, I know you need to feel secure in what you do, but
if she's a fitness model later, though, she's like, that is fit is the new skinny, right? Like all day, and the girls want to be like
at some point
the fountain of youth forever.
At some point,
we have Botox, whatever skin treatments.
Wow.
We have fucking a workout.
I'm like, babe, you've had three. You've had 3 kids. We've had 3.
65 and looking fly as fuck. That Instagram account is going to blow up.
Come on. Okay, name a 65-year-old count that's blown up.
But if you can't,
wait, I want to follow. That would be the one. I want to follow the 65-year-old count that's blown up.
That there's not a precedent for it, but I'm saying there's a market for that.
Is there a market for 65-year-old men too?
Yeah.
On Instagram. 100%. On Instagram.
Daddies are hot. Do you know?
Those are grandpas.
I don't think there's as much.
Daddy, you're right. Daddies are hot, but
like a daddy.
65. Show me a 65-year-old guy that's hot right now.
I have one that I just This guy.
Show me a picture of a wallet.
And he has no extra scan.
Bro, dude,
you're hot kidding. As a man. You're hot when you're got a wallet.
No,
but I'm just about to.
Congratulations, also, man.
I think I could probably name women that were hot when I first started my company that are in the age. Monica Bryant, right? Yeah.
She sounds terrible.
She was super hot back in the day. I haven't even seen what she looks like now. I'm just saying at 65. Come on, dude.
That is pretty impressive.
Yeah, as a man, yeah.
Dude,
you better have a lot of money.
It is funny.
You know what's hot at 65? Millions.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
It ain't about your six pack.
I never figured out a lot in life.
So you're so old. You're figured out a lot in life.
I learned how to play music.
Which is awesome.
I learned how to make a couple of tracks. But my best skill in life is being shirtless with my guitar. And dude, girls cannot resist.
I wasn't thinking that would be your best in life. But you're saying, how old were you? Like now still?
Oh, dude, I did it at 22.
Yeah.
I did it at 23.
Yeah.
I did it at 25.
Yeah.
Girls can't resist it.
Okay, I
fucking shirtless.
Yeah. That
playing
right there.
guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
I would be illegal. That would be illegal for me.
Yeah, they can't help
I tell all my friends, I was like, dude, if I had a voice and played an instrument, I would be like off the chain.
I used to. It was the only way I got laid.
Wait.
When I was young, I could not get laid to save my life.
What?
I promise you.
Okay, but you were like you're in a cult.
Yes.
Right? You had to fuck like your cousin or like sister-in-law.
Yeah, but I didn't get the fuck
like also that. I was joking. So like, also that.
No,
yeah, I didn't get the fuck.
And then he was not secular, and he thought he was secular.
So once I discovered that, I was like, dude, this is the way I should learn
this is the way.
I
love this.
I can get pussy from a conversation about music, and so I would used to like play music in front of girls.
I'm gonna play this right here.
See? Yep.
Like what I love about her, she's on her own world. Like I'm out on the deck rolling the blunt, and this is her anywhere, right? Like when she feels the spirit, dude. But this is before. Oh, dude.
Is there any way to like add?
Oh, I've already. I sent her. What? Oh, dude. What I love about her, she talks so much shit, and then all of a sudden I said a little video. Oh yeah, you were good last night, huh?
That means
hell yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're hilarious. I love her free spirit.
Yeah.
I do love that. And she's from Midville, and grew up in like one of the most conservative areas you can imagine. And she's like a liberal. I love it. And she's like, dude, I got to go back to Thanksgiving. Yeah. My dad hates me. Yeah. My sister thinks I'm crazy. Yeah. And she calls her mom Nancy. I'm like, as a black person, who calls her mom by the first name?
That's oh my God.
Yeah. And I've met Nancy several times, dude. And just the whole conversation is hilarious. One time she brought her sister and her mom over to my house, and they got in a family argument right in front of me. And Rachel was very mean. Conversation. Whatever, Nancy. How many people did you sleep with? Why I was in junior high? And I was like, okay, I start flicking the lights off. Okay, it's time to go.
This space.
And I just came from a funeral, so I was like, my mindset was already. And they started going at it. I was like, okay, you know what, dude? It's time for you to like. I go. Would you quit calling your mom Nancy? Yeah, that's what she is. It's Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy, for having me over. Yeah. That's what I would do.
I call my black friends. I'm like, dude, they're like, these white people call her mom by the first name. Oh, dude, my mom would have socked Rachel in the face if she would ever called her Nancy or whatever like that. Like she would have never got. But Rachel's like, your mom did put me through what, man? I go still.
That's fair.
Yeah. Oh, she was like, I want to invite you back to my hometown, but I think you're gonna have problems, Hodge. I go, I love hometowns, dude. I've been in Orofino. Rupert.
That's
you.
Dude, that's
Fuel. I go, Gooding.
Oh my
I've
God.
done. Don't worry about it, dude.
And I do, like, even though we haven't talked about this, but just from that description, I do understand when you invite people to your home and you're like, this is not accurate.
I appreciate her warning.
Like, when
warning, dude.
when Josh met my family, I was just like, dude, they're fucking weird.
Dude, listen,
weird.
I've been everywhere. I try to love everyone.
No, I just like my parents are extra weird though. It's not like you've met everyone, every culture, all types of people. They are strange.
I don't even look at it. I just look at I'm looking more of a cultural thing. I was in Priest Lake. Okay, I don't think it gets. Does it get any wider? Have you been to Priest Lake?
No, never.
It's like 20 miles from Canada. It's beautiful, but it's all white. Like there was no other black people other than me there. And I'm at a bar, and it's a big square bar, and across from me are like 3 guys with bald heads, right? And so I'm talking like to some friends. I was like, yeah, I was playing poker in Vegas, and they hear me across the bar, and they're like, hey, you play poker? And I looked around, I was like, yeah, I play poker. And they're like, we got a poker game right up the hill right now. You should come. And I go like this in front of the whole bar. I go, nah. I go, whenever you guys wear those hoods, I can't tell if you're bluffing or not. So I'm out.
I'm about to call you out.
They laughed their ass off, dude. The whole bar laughed. They bought me like 3 drinks, went out, smoked a fucking joint with me, whatever we're smoking, and then we're like this, we're serious, we have a poker game. I was like, I'm serious, I'm not going to any fucking poker. But it's fun. I'm not going up to the hills with you. But they treated me like gold, like the whole time, whatever. I wasn't offended. I was fucking with them. They were fucking with me. They loved it.
It's the fear of the unknown and not having. It's not even being like, oh, you're scary and you might pose a threat. It's just like I don't know how to be.
Well, you got to know your environment.
It's much like that.
You got to recognize your environment.
The active weirdness between races is much more innocent than people.
I was in Amsterdam, and these guys told me I couldn't come in because it was a private bar. They were like, it's a private bar, and I'm with my business partner, one of my best friends. And I was like, and I broke out my cash, like, no problem, I'll pay. We want to come in. And these, like, right on the movies, like, these guys are like 5'9" Russian looking mafia, like the German guys. They're like, no, you can't get to a private club. No Negros. Like that. And I looked at him like it was like processing, and I got mad. I balled my fist up, and I go, what the fuck did you say to me? And I look back at my partner for backup, and he starts laughing. He's like, Hodge, we're in Belgium. We have no idea where we're running, what the laws are, or whatever, stuff like that. He goes, don't get me wrong. I know we could whip these guys' ass, but if we get called, right, we might get killed right here. We might get like, and I started laughing. I was like, you're right. You're so right. You're so right. I'm tripping. I was about to slap this little German fucker. Yeah. And I was like, you're right. Where would I run? Who would I call? Different rules. So, you know what? Tonight, no Negroes get that. I walked around, we laughed for like 10 minutes. Like, dude, that was close. Because I was 2 seconds from like telling this fucker, as an American, cocky fucking American, what did you say to me, motherfucker? I will slap you fucking in front of her, right? And the German's like, you should slap me, fucker. Right? With the accent, I was like, you know what?
Let's go.
No, I shouldn't. Right, I'm out of here.
I have been humbled, and I have
you got humbled. Great conversation.
I've been recognized, and I've been humbled. By the way, like when my roommate, when we drive around, there are sometimes when people pull out at a gas station or whatever, and they look twice. And it doesn't look like curiosity. It looks like what the fuck, you know. And she never recognizes it ever. Just on like, and I never do either because I'm just like, dude, this is not.
They're challenging you the whole time.
I'm like, I might look over and be like. And then like that'll be the only recognition that I have, and then we're moving on. Like, but like,
well, in every country I go to, and I feel blessed this way. I make some really good friends, and they tell me like, Hodge, you ever come back? Let me know. I'll pick you up from the airport. Right? I have friends like they went to Cabo. Well, me, I'm like
no, like. But I do see that. I did see that before. That's what, like, and sorry, that's what they're saying.
Well, I've been with friends, and I've been all over Mexico, and I was in Guadalajara. We're in Guadalajara, and we decided to leave this club and have a party back at our penthouse in Guadalajara. We're there for a trade show. We go back there, and there's all kind of women, and there's like 8 guys and Mexican people, whatever stuff. And I'm over here talking to some friends and some of the girls, and my business people come over and go, these guys are cartel. And I'm like, They're absolutely cartel. What are you talking about? You're in Guadalajara, Mexico, motherfucker. You're doing drugs and everything. No one's doing drugs unless it's cartel in this area, right? Okay, notice where you're at. And they're like, well, we're kind of nervous. We don't want to get kidnapped. I go, kidnapped? You're 350 pounds, you fat fuck. Who's trying to forklift you out of the fucking place and feed you until they get a ransom?
You're trying to beat you.
So one of the guys is there as a Mexican guy, and he starts laughing, but and I think he can't understand me. He starts laughing, and he calls me Dante Jefe. Dante Jefe, you're fucking funny. He's like, you're right. No one's trying to kidnap you guys. You're buying drugs. You're buying whores. You're fucking contributing to the whole thing. No one's messing with you. Relax. Right? Relax. And me, I was like, that's what I'm telling these guys. We're in a third world country. All right. You guys are the IRS. I don't mind paying you guys taxes. All right. No more than I fucking like to pay taxes in America. Right?
You play by the rules.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Anytime I go to Mexico, my dude's like, what's at me? I was like in Cabo. Done. Dude, they like showed up right there. I was in fucking Mexico City. Done. Like showed up, whatever. I was like, and I like smoke weed. I don't fuck around with anything else. I'm just looking for it. Not that brown weed you guys get. I'm looking for the. And so my buddy calls me Dr. Dre, and I call him Pitbull. Because he's this little Mexican. I go, hey, Pitbull, I'm coming. I have some friends coming into Cabo right there. He's like, hey, Dr. Dre. So. And so all my friends are like nervous, and then later on they're like call me like, Hodge, I happen to be in Mexico. I was like, you need me now. You want to call my contact or whatever. You didn't respect him when we used my contact.
He has a contact in Mexico. Did you know?
Oh, dude, that's on camera. Yeah. His name is Dave. My contact is Dave.
Yeah. Everyone's named Dave, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to go with Dave or Richard. I was going to go
I'm Dave Richard.
I'm Dave Richard. Dave Richard, dude.
That's crazy.
You were a dick either way.
Yeah.
Dude, he was a dick.
Richard. Richard.
Was he? I didn't think of the different cranial ones.
That's gonna even get better, dude. That was better than saying I light skin right there. You're like, hey, am I Richard? Yeah,
that was so good.
That's fucking funny.
Cracked you up. I think that's better.
It was way better.
That was way better. Dude, is the camera off? The camera's been off for a while, right?
No, dude.
It's been running. No way.
It's definitely on this.
It's not on the entire time, dude.
No, for sure. It's on.
What? You got some incredible shit.
As a little.
What I want from this.
As a little what? As a little what?
As a side note, thank you for that.
You know what? I think your new nickname is Side Note. I like that.
Side Note.
I'm pretty good. I'm legitimate about causing people nicknames that stick forever.
Bro,
Side Note.
I love nicknames.
Side Note.
A side note.
That is fire. Great night. As a side note.
I am.
When I see you, I'm like, side note.
I was excited for to be a part of the podcast and more witness. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you were.
Than I expected. I think that we ended up a little bit more faded than we expected, and I'm definitely chiming in more than.
No, not at all. You've been actually been awesome.
The conversations that we've had.
It's been some deep conversations.
Yeah, I just wanted to do the podcast.
I think you guys got a lot of clips right here for sure.
It went into such crazy ways that I didn't.
The conversation with all the
normal ways where I'm just of course this is how we would talk. Or
we talked about biblical shit.
Yeah.
And sin. And all kinds. It was a great conversation.
I think so.
Thank you.
It's time to get to know
Thank you.
Yes. Are you just
I'm just glad that.
Are you just jerking us off with the?
No.
Nobody's by Sindet.
Nobody.
What?
Bro, dude,
that's why I feel like an asshole. But I really am excited for.
You made a lot of really sweet comments.
Yeah.
I want to next time when I first do my podcast is how you two met. We're gonna hey, don't tell me.
Okay.
I just want to know.
Honestly, we have the origin stories to be all origin stories.
I'm gonna do. That's gonna be part of my podcast. As I'm gonna have couples come on. And I was like, okay, first time you guys met. First time.
We
Wait. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
I'm going to tell you the aftermath a little bit.
No. This is content.
It's not the first time.
Okay.
But the reason why we just kept on hanging out, I left my jacket over here. It was kind of some spicy.
How did you leave your jacket over here? What happened?
No, that's the first story.
I want to know.
Those are details of that.
Yes. I want details of that too.
Okay, so my friend is fucking him for a little bit, and she tried to use me as a bargaining chip for
bargaining chip. He was a bargaining chip?
No, I was a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
I was. And because I was already fucking my friend Shanae, and then she was like, hey, I'm fucking this guy, Josh. I want to do a male threesome with my buddy Dave, or his buddy David. But I think it'd be easier for me to negotiate if I gave him a girl threesome before. And I was already fucking him for a while.
Okay, you're going really fast. You're going really fast. I got so many questions.
Let me check this guy out.
Okay.
And then I did, and then we all fucked. And I had already been sleeping there for a while, so it wasn't that big of a bridge.
Okay, with Josh, you're going too fast.
Josh and I were sleeping with the same person.
Guys, I want to, because I feel like I should wait for my podcast, but I'm very curious now. So, you guys have a mutual friend.
Yes.
That says that you guys should all fuck.
We had my friend.
We love her.
And
my friend for about 10 years started hooking up with him casually.
Oh, okay.
And then
Have I met Shanae?
Yeah, not yet, but she's dope.
But she's dope.
Fucking great. And then
you would know
she
her.
Thought that she could have a better chance at a threesome with him and our friend David.
Shanae's good on threesomes.
She offered me up as sacrifice, essentially.
You're okay, wait. When you say black, I'm black. When you say sacrifice, are there chickens and candles?
Bargaining. We're not like
okay. Culturally, I was out of here. I just want to let you know. Okay.
That was good. Bad.
Okay. Holy shit. That was good.
Okay.
That was good.
So she told me about this like from the beginning. It wasn't like anything where she tricked me.
Yeah.
But I was already sleeping with her, and I was like, all right, like let's see.
So you were sleeping with her.
Yeah, and I'm like, let's see if we're all gonna hang out together.
Okay, so you're bi.
And then we did.
Can we get like some?
And then some context. Yeah, I like girls. And so we went over to his house, and then it was like 3 months later. I left my jacket there, and then we started spicy texting. So I texted her and I was like, hey, is this cool? She was with somebody in a relationship for a while. And then
because she had already been
and she like
so that was a girl check. She's like, I'm cool about that.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah.
Wow, that's more respect than most girls.
Is this no conflict dick or what?
Yeah.
And then
no conflict dick or what, dude?
And then we started fucking, and then we've been hanging out since. But we was only sex talk in text, and then we got together. I was like,
that's why you like Texas right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then now
it's
we
all
have.
coming together.
It was so hot before because I'm just like, give me a fucking carrot to dangle to. But then I like if it's just the carrot and no treat, then I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here? I have to have good conversation.
Yeah.
I have to like say something interesting, get me there, and then
that's the point that I always dwell on.
Yeah. So it's like when you were talking about like we're saying the same thing, but just not the same timeline. But thing. So we just we have the same fruit.
Well, that's what we're talking about. I've met a lot of fitness models with no context.
We're dirty.
That were super hot.
There's no.
That was like even if I messed around with a couple of fitness models and then we tried to have a conversation, and I've realized the conversation is never going to be there. Yeah. Like it's so shallow.
Yeah.
Right there, like, and that's what we're saying about if you're 50 in a fitness model. Okay, that means like you've been riding the fitness model things. Can we have a conversation? Have you read a book? Have you gone through suffering? I mean, we should be able to have a conversation that
by 50, it should be a wellness thing where it should be like, because like nobody's gonna be like, oh, I want to look like a 50-year-old hot girl. Like,
well, if you're a man, I don't know if that's true or not.
No, you want to look like a 20, like you want 50-year-old hot girls. That's not what I'm saying, but like the vibe.
No, you do not.
But you want
no man wants 50-year-old hot girls.
If you're gonna make yourself as a fitness model at 50, I think that you should be like, hey, this is your wellness. It has to be the full encompassing fucking thing.
And I'm straight ab living.
You have to be like, this is how
I want to say that's a conversation you have at 40. And this was my conversation. I'm 38 or 40, and I know my body's going to change. I'm going through menopause and all kind of fucking astronomical shit.
9 years off.
Am I going to be 50 pumping the same game? Or should I lock my deal up right now? Right? And if they're like, hey, I'm 38 or 40, I offer this, whatever. So, but if you're 50 and you're like doing and I'm going to get in so much trouble if you guys ever record this because I'm in the industry. If you're like 50, 48 as a woman and you're like trying to be hot and everything else, be hot. Well, be hot for your man. Well, how many 50-year-old strippers do you see? If we go to Torch right now, how many strippers are in their 40s?
Have a great fucking time.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Listen, that's my point. If you're a fitness model, and you're funny and charismatic, and you're you got your masters or something like that, I want to travel the world with you because we're gonna have a great time. We're not gonna argue about shit. You're secure, I'm secure, and everything else, right? But if you're still trying to like be relevant in an industry that's changing every 3 years, right? And there's girls who are 20 who are more riskier and more ruder and that's what everyone's looking at.
Thirstier and more sparkly.
OnlyFans or
more sparkly aspect.
Or you can make more money taking pictures of your feet. Okay, let's be honest, right? Don't be mad at me because I'm calling you on it going, babe, we're 40, 45. Okay. I already make enough money for us. Yeah. But if you still need that like every day, like some kind of confirmation from some dude that like your picture, I'm out.
Confirmation, yes. Like that, you shouldn't need that. As like far as like just like she was like, oh, I'm hot. Like please, like validate that.
Validate me.
Like that should.
I'm still taking pictures with my foot up, and I'm like 40.
If
I'm
the
like,
same person was aging consciously and being like empowering, be like, hey, this is the.
If you're talking about empowering, man, that's whole different.
What I do.
Whole different brand. Whole different brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Whole different brand.
I support that all day.
Yeah, whole different brand.
And it's like there's a lot of. Like,
I don't think you're hot. I think you're knowledgeable at that point.
And then you're just like your lifestyle you know, and you look good.
And I'm not talking about some woman thing. Even Michael Hearn.
Like, people say I look good for my age. I will.
I had Michael Hearn stay at my house. He was sponsoring one of my events, and he was doing the MC for the Idaho Classic, right? And I woke up the first morning and I had to prepare all 7. He had to have 7 meals a day. He was like fitting us all this fucking contractual shit. But he was staying with me. He was like, Hodge, I don't want to stay in a fucking hotel. I'll stay with you. Cool. I woke up one morning and he had Vaseline all over his face. And it was like laying outside my deck, whatever. He had a whole routine, like from 6 in the morning he went through, which I respect. Like if you wake up 6 in the morning to keep your brand and until 6 o'clock at night, you're in your brand, right? Vaseline all over his face for the first hour. Wipes off Vaseline, comes in, eats his first meal, goes out and works out, comes in, eats his fucking second meal, fucking does all his posts, eats his third meal. If you are diligent like that, I respect your trade. Like if you're a blacksmith and I wake up in the morning, you're like, ding.
Yeah, and I'm like,
ding, right?
There are people
blacksmiths, I respect
fitness, but if you're going to be 51 years old, you better be fucking at gym.
51.
Like, hey, these are my macros that I hit to make me fucking like have less loose skin.
Is it fair enough to say that your fan base has changed at 51?
Yeah, instead of pretending that you're, instead of pretending that you're just like always youthful and you just look like that naturally, tell people how you are combating the like age. Like, hey, I am this old.
Or tell everyone is like, you know what? You're 40% overweight, 70% overweight. Yeah. It's because my routine is I wake up and I put my face in ice water and I take supplements and I do push-ups or whatever. If you want to look like me, then you got to do these things.
Also, just like, hey, I can Asian squat, sit up. I do sauna all the time. So
listen, you're Asian.
You know what? Like the thing is like the benefit of being healthy is hot. I love that. But if I could choose to lose a leg or even fucking 30% mobility in a leg or have my face fucked up, I would choose my fucking face. I'm trying to get places to do things.
What?
My face is fucking fine. I'll talk like that's however it shows up, then my face is fine. I need to get there. I need to do things. I think my personality
you said all of a sudden if your face was
if there was a sacrifice between like, oh, it's your face or 30% mobility in your leg, then I would choose my face.
Why are you sacrificing for what?
Like I don't think I have to.
No, I'm thinking hypothetically.
I
thought hypothetically. What is our original conversation earlier?
The more important
is what is your goal? What am I sacrificing for my goal? Am I sacrificing my sleep or my supplements or my food or whatever?
Definitely sacrifice.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I my 20s. I used to party my dick in the dirt like Thursday through Sunday.
Your dick in the dirt, huh?
Dick in the dirt. I
love her analogy.
Out all the fucking time. And then now that I am older, I'm like, oh, hydrate. and now this is how like sleep hygiene.
Partake,
and now these are the things that you need to do.
I agree.
And I agree. Really blessed that I get to decide that like later on because I know a lot of people would.
It's like when I travel, I'm in California, and they're like all the Botox and they all look like Joker released the gas.
All like
right, but to them, but to them, that's there. And me, I'm like, that is not.
There's like that Real Lives of Mormon Wives or whatever that like
Mormon Lives.
Real Lives of Mormon Wives. My roommate watches like some reality television show, and I was like, all these bitches look exactly the same. They were like everything got the eyebrow raise and the back.
I had a scholarship offered at Rick's College, and I went up with my best friend. I told you about Nate. He's oh, look at this guy, dude. I'm gonna get out of here. It's 12. But
I'm gonna look the same, hopefully. I don't want to look different.
I hope that's what everyone says. I'm not sure. You're Asian, dude. You age well.
Yeah,
You're like me,
I age well, but do I age gracefully? That is the difference.
Well, it depends how many times, how much do you frown and how much do you smile?
A lot. I smile a lot.
Yeah, exactly. If you smile more than you frown.
One of my friends stopped making a lot of facial like expressions because he was just like that, and he started sleeping on his back. He's like, "This is how you wrinkle." And he seems like the least fucking shallow person ever. He's just like worried about how people are and da da da. And he's like, no, you have to sleep with your mummies and the.
Yeah. Me, I was.
Like cutie. Like you made like fucking your whole expression range, and
you better edit all this shit out. We're like that. You should do Bill Maher's. You should do Bill Maher's. After we shut the show off.
Should we go to Navajo? No, it's too late.
That would be terrible.
It's 12:09.
Should we go?
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you want to do another line to go? You know,
what's going on? The Navajo? I don't. What?
Would you like to go to Navajo? Or
I don't even know. I haven't been in Navajo forever, but it's on my way home. So
it's like 2 blocks down. So
yeah, I know exactly. So good. What's going on at the Navajo? I don't know.
Maybe a game of pool and.
I love it. You know what? I'm definitely gonna invite you guys over next time. I have a pool table and everything else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna barbecue out and invite you guys over. So
I would love that.
Yeah.
I was really excited to get to know you better, and I thought I was gonna.
You know what? I think I've been around you 4 or 5 times, and I've always thought you were awesome for sure.
Dude, fucking Navajo.
We went there.
You know what?
This guy came up to me. He's like, Cinda, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. And he was like, yes, you do. And then he was
top 10 things you don't want to happen.
And then he was like, hey, do you want to go to this fucking like we're trying to get food? And he was like, oh, they're closed. Do you want to go to this tattoo place instead?
What?
And now he showed me your me6.
You guys got a tattoo?
I have this one.
I think Rachel just got a tattoo too, right?
Yeah.
In Vegas or whatever?
Like a body modification.
She got a few? I don't know. Right there, yeah.
Dude, look at this one.
You guys are... that's from the Navajo? Okay, well, I'm not going. I'm not going on that motherfucker.
That's Resurrected.
I like that tattoo.
That tattoo place.
I like that tattoo. That's a pretty cool tattoo, actually.
You don't have any license at home.
Yeah.
You have to go to like
yeah. No. Yeah, I don't have any tattoos, so I've always been nervous that I'm going to be in a run one day. And they're like, black guy with a dragon on his back. Like, there he is! Right there! There he is right there!
Yeah. The tattoo is the biggest fingerprint.
No.
My friend went into prison, like, he knew he was going to get caught up. And he got this little skull tattoo on his face because he thought it was going to make him look hard.
Your face tattoo is the stupidest shit.
He thought it was going to make him look hard. And it looked like Lisa Frank. It was, Lisa Frank, you laughed. So it looked like a Lisa Frank tattoo, dude. On like Lisa Frank. And like, you don't try to look hard.
Lisa Frank.
You look like a trapper keeper.
Right there. I remember I had a friend, he had a tattoo over his forehead. It was like an eagle over his forehead. I was like, do you know you just fucked yourself forever? And he's like, what are you talking about, Hodge? I believe in this shit. I was like, well, you could have put it on your back or your shoulder. I go, literally, every time you get a job, they're going to see this fucking thing. What are you fucking doing, dude?
Don't get a tattoo for a flex.
Yeah, and he thought I was an asshole. I was like, whatever. Yeah, dude. Fucking dude.
I was talking about how face tattoos were like a fucking commitment.
Any tattoo's a commitment.
I didn't even say anything like super just like, oh, that's stupid. I'm like, face like tattoos. I'm like, that's commitment. You're living your life like that. On one decision, you know?
Yeah.
Since the needle touches your fucking temple. And then I looked over and this guy's just fucking blasted all over his face on my bar. And I was like, you look cool though. Those were all good decisions. Your homie did that in the basement. Fucking trying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know. No. I've seen friends with a teardrop in their eye. That means how much time they spend in prison. I was like, so when you get pulled over, they automatically know. Automatically they're gonna harass you. They're like, fuck you, Hodge. I was like, I'm just saying.
I'm like,
right
I don't
in your
register
face.
my car because they think to you.
I'm black, so I was like, I'm already. When they see me, I don't need a tattoo.
Yellen is telling it.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah.
There are some people that like.
This guy looks like he's done a knock side in a dental chair.